Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm just just doing some checks here. Let me just grab this. Transfers. What's going on, everybody, man? Miss, how you been?
I am doing very well, and enjoying all the international football, at least like when I can. But yeah, some interesting games. Looking forward to the start of the season, seeing what our Arsenal can do.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the England game in a second. I have forgot to do one thing. I forgot to grab my phone. Hold on a second.
Hmm.
I'll just go and
No,
grab it. Hold on. Let me see if I can mute myself.
yeah. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Right. Yeah, I forgot my phone. So, yeah, what's going on, everybody? England game. Let's talk about England game. Now, we did the stream yesterday, and the England game, boy, what a joke. They were so bad. They remind me of Arsenal in a way. And I haven't watched England games for, man, I haven't watched England games forever. Cheers. Thank you. I haven't watched England games for about 4 or 5 years. So them that was talking to me into doing the stream, I thought, yeah, why not? Why not do the stream? And boy, them guys are broke.
No, it
Them guys are
it, it
broke.
it's a typical England performance. I am glad that I had some work stuff I had to do, but I'm also glad that I was rooting for Scotland because Kieran Tierney was playing. Like, like Southgate didn't choose Saka, so I don't see why I needed to cheer for them. And it was a good, solid performance. You know who they remind me of? Remember
Who's that?
Iceland? Iceland.
Yeah,
Scotland remind
yeah.
me a lot of Iceland. Like, I don't think that they're greatly talented. They got a few good players there, but they have a system. They go out there and they execute it. They know their weaknesses. They try to hide all their weaknesses and
Mhm.
just accentuate their strengths. And England, like with all the resources they have, like they're just terrible at it. Like I've seen some of the replays. I'm just like, like where the changes? It's absolutely crazy. I don't get it. I don't, and they'll never learn.
Yeah, I think that that's where it comes down to. I'm having my, hold on, let me just test my headphones. My headphones are being a bit funny at the moment. It keeps them going in and out, but
Mhm.
hopefully it will stay in. I'm hoping it will stay in. What's going on to everybody? What's going on, Femi? Good to see you. Says Apollo. Good to see you. Hope you
What's
are
up,
doing
Femi?
great. Miss you. Yeah, miss you guys as well, man. It's really, really good to be back. It's really great to be talking about Arsenal again. And thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel and the show. We're going to look into quite a few things today. We're basically going to look into the whole plethora of transfers and see where we are with that. It is going to be. I was hoping to keep this going for 45 minutes until about 9, but I think it's gonna some parts are going to take up quite a little bit of time. So it would be really good to see what you guys also think about some of the players. Um, Outside of England, we're not going to spend too much time about England. The game is what it was, and one thing's for sure, guys. That's not how a team who's going to make it into the final 16 is going to play.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whether they get past it, whether they uh, whether
But
they meet somebody, I mean, like I said, it's going to be Germany, Portugal, or what was or
Belgium.
France if they win
Oh
the
yeah,
division. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't really know where they're going to go with that. If they finish second, then they've got Slovakia or Sweden, so it's a lot more easier.
With England, you just don't know. I don't know if you can say because Scotland. I read a report is the third lowest ranked team in the whole
Yeah,
competition.
yeah,
Like England should have slapped them around, and they're struggling. So
yeah.
with England, you just don't know. Um,
Mm.
I don't think that they're going to get far because the team that normally wins it tends to play pretty well throughout the majority of the competition. Like you can see something there, but with England, like they've got goals, but they're not scoring. What, two
Yeah,
goals? No, no, one goal.
so this is what I said to Ebony last night. Saka has been the man of the match for 3 out of the last 5 games before the Euros, leading up to the Euros. he wasn't even on the bench yesterday.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't even on the bench. What's going on, Cool K? Man,
the only thing I'll say to this is maybe Southgate decided that he wants to help Arsenal out and give Saka some rest. Because for me, that was the only reason why I didn't want him to go in the Euros in the first place. Because I would hate to see Saka go to the Euros, just completely boss it up and get injured. And we're going to need him at the start of the season. But hey, that's Southgate for you.
So, guys, we're going to start off with let's get his picture up on here. We're going to start off with. There we go. We're going to start off with Ben White. A lot of things are going on at the moment, so we're just going to try and tackle all of these where we can. So transfer window's been open up now for just over a week. We've had no shortage of names being linked to Arsenal and moves to North London. And the Gunners have certainly been in the thick of the speculation, which, quite frankly, has surprised a few people, including myself, because when you look at the fact that Arsenal are cash-strapped, they've gone on year, back-to-back years of severe losses, no fans in the stadium, £120 million government loan, which they've deferred, so they've moved it on, so they don't have to now pay before the end of this year. Now they can pay over 3 years. It's just a trailer load of debt. The good news, obviously, is fans are back in the stadium, so that's great. That brings in over 144 million per year. That is a huge chunk of what they use to pay salaries. So the reason why they had the government loan in the first place was to help with operating costs and salaries and things like that, because they just couldn't meet it with just the revenue that they had previously. So to come in on board now and hear these rumors, and guys, these are rumors, they're not confirmed, that Arsenal have 250 million to spend. I mean, before I go to Neomis, right? Before I go to the Neomis, I have to tackle this one, yeah? I have to tackle this one. 250 million to spend. In my opinion, is it true or false? That's where I'm going with that one, yeah? That is a load of rubbish for so many reasons. Arsenal have never spent that amount of money before. That's more than what Chelsea spent last year. And many of what Chelsea spent was based on the Eden Hazard, yeah? It was based on all of that, those deals that they had for players sold. For the Kroenkes, I mean, one thing the Kroenkes are doing, they're fully backing Arteta. So it's really good to see some of the deals that have gone through. We've seen countless amount of offers go through. We've seen Lagonga's deal go be submitted. We've seen Ben White's 40 million submitted. I'm hearing now concrete, hearing that a 60 million deal is going to go through for Maddison. I've heard it's going to be around Tuesday, but we have to wait and see how that's going on. So that's over 120 million in offers that Arsenal have put forward for, and these are legit offers. So it's not between the realm of, yeah, they're gonna be blowing up, and the front office and the board are getting their act together, and Josh Kroenke is going to be putting money to support the team. That is clear. That is abundant. That is true. There's nothing false about that. But to say we've got a 250 million war chest, $250 million, nah, not happening. Neomis, what's your thoughts on that? First of all, let me get the banner up for Neomis. Neomis, true or false?
It's false. Like, it is so false. It's not even funny. Like, I could not believe it. I'm like, these media outlets are literally going into the Arsenal archive, and plucking out any number that they can about an Arsenal war chest. And it's so frustrating, because there are Arsenal fans right now, like, literally salivating at the mouth, believing that that's the case. And I'm like, it just isn't. And I know you've got the gentleman Ben White like there, but I honestly believe that, like, I think Ben White's a good player, and I know we're going to go into it, but we have to be shopping at a different store this summer. Like, we can't be going for this level, because I honestly believe Arsenal are going to struggle in every facet.
Yeah, I agree. And look, the 18 saying false. And look, guys, the rumors came from 90 Minutes, which is a website that's not very reputable.
Oh, yeah.
I've got my own contacts within Arsenal, and they're not even sniffing anywhere near that. And not just that, but if it was from someone like David Ornstein, or if it was some good links that we've heard previously before, then we'd understand it. But one thing I've learned by going to the Arsenal Supporters Trust meetings is we had that relationship where Ivan Conzidas and those guys would discuss transfer. So we kind of knew where we were, yeah?
Yep.
Since Kroenke, since Josh has come in, and since Vinay and those guys in the front office have been in control, there's no transparency. We don't know what they're going to spend. There's no communication. And I think that part of people talking about Daniel Ek and all this stuff is you're trying to get the fans back involved. But look, let me just say something to Arsenal fans one time. No team in the world talks about transfer budget to their fans or the media. It doesn't happen. So if you guys are expecting some golden goose to land on the table and start to communicate with you all their transfer dealings and budgets and things like that, guys, let me save you a month of sorrow. It ain't going to happen. Because if you go around and tell people you got 250 million, guess what happens to Ben White's price tag? Guess what happens to James Maddison's price tag? Thank you. Yeah? The art of negotiation would leave the table, and you'd have no grounds to stand on. Because, man, you know, if a man, remember I talk about the door knocking syndrome on my videos earlier this week. If a man knocks your house and says, Apollo, I want to buy your house, and a man's pull up in a Mini or a Skoda or some family car, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? If I'm going to sell, then let me talk to this man and we can work out a deal that makes both parties happy. But if the man pulls out of my house in a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, I'm saying, brother, you want to buy my house? Come in here, let's talk. Yeah, let me offer you 150% of the value of my house because you got the money to pay for it. Yeah,
of course.
And then I could make a killing off that, and then go and buy somewhere nice, and then live off the profits. But that just doesn't work in football, guys. It doesn't work in football. So all of this stuff you're hearing from 90 Minutes website about 250 million war chests, nah. Femi is saying Arsenal will spend close to 200 million. Whether they will or not will hugely depend on outgoing players. And look, I'm going to talk about Ben White, but there is something in regards to the wealth of players that we're trying to get off our books. That we did a lot of work in January, but there's more to do this month. And there's going to be a trailer load of players that are leaving, and all that does is siphon the deficit off the wage bill. So it's all good news. It's all good news. But
let me ask you a question, Apollo, before you go into that. Mm-hmm. With all of these deals, I'm assuming that we're going to be like, how much do you think that we're going to be putting down? Because clearly we're not going to be like, okay, Brighton, we're going to give you, 50 million straight for Ben White, 60 there, that's 100 this summer to pay them off all right away. What's the amount that either you think or you've heard of in the past that's kind of typical with, I guess, any club type of bid? Because I refuse to believe Brighton are going to accept Arsenal to put down 10 mil down and then spread out 50 million in 5 years. That for me just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it's in my opinion. Let me say hi to Bertram. Bertram, how you doing? Nice of you to join us. Didn't know you was going to be here.
Yeah, Bertram. Well. I was on the road all morning.
Oh, no. See, Apollo. That's not Bertram. That's Stan Kroenke. That's just showed up. You see the name?
I've got. Yeah, but
I've got 250 mil to spend, Naomis.
Yeah, listen, I've got time for Stan Kroenke. I got, and actually, not Stan Kroenke, but Josh Kroenke, because he's the man running the team.
No. I've got time for the money. Josh just is my proxy. I have the money. Josh don't have the money. Josh have no money unless I give him some.
Neomis, I've got time for Stan Kroenke because he's putting money into the club. So, and this is what I think I've been uploading videos every day this week, and I think on Wednesday I talked about it in my video, and I said, all of you guys bashing Stan, and you got it all wrong. The problem in the team is Vinay and Edu. It's the front office. They're the ones that are running the club and spending the money. All the parent owners do is say, yeah, you can do that. No, you can't do that. They're not actually, they're decision makers, but they're not the ones that are actually going out scouting, doing the scouting, doing all the, this is a player we're targeting, that's the player we're targeting, this is how much we're going to pay that player. Those decisions are not made by the Cronkies. They're just there to facilitate the spend, and they are putting money into the club. No one fan can tell me they're not spending money in the club. Yeah, they're not. It's not their own money, but why should they put their own money in the club when the club can pretty much pay for itself? And that's what it's been doing. If I owned Arsenal, you think I'm putting £1 in? I'm not putting nothing into. You think if I'm a billionaire and I own Arsenal, do you think I would put any money into this club? Why would I do that? You look what they've done with 100 million in Pepe and Saliba, 2 players, 100 million, and not one of them was not one of them is a regular starting player in the team last year. Yeah, Pepe towards the end of the year, but he started 13 games. Yeah, none of those 2 were regular players. So if someone's saying to me, Apollo, yeah, you're on the team, look, how about you give us a little bit of a breeze? I'm like, nah, man, nah, it don't work that way. Let's find a way. Let's do the maths, look at the books, and find a way where we can submit you money into the club. And the Cronkiers are doing that. It's abundantly clear. Like I said, we've come off 2 back-to-back deficit years. Yeah, we've deferred 120 million government loan. So it's not at the end of this year, it's now over 3 years. So this club is hugely in debt. It's great that the fans are back in the stadium. That's another 140 million that goes into the kitty. So you can start to do things. You can start. If I'm sitting down with Bertram, and me and Bertram own Arsenal, and Bertram says to me, Apollo, how do we make this work this summer? I said, Bertram, listen, first of all, let's backload that government loan, which is what they've done, so we don't have to stress about using our equity this year to pay off for loans rather than go out there and buy players. Yeah, box ticked. Number 1, they've done that. Let's look at a system where we can now get the fans back into the stadium. That's a box ticked. They've done that. So we've now got 140 million coming into the club, which we didn't have over the last 18 months or 12 months. The Adidas deal, Emirates Stadium deal, Indesit, Rwanda, all of that is up in 18 months, beginning of 2024. So you've now got a lot of backlog money that you can pay. So you can do things like buy Pepe. Pepe was over 4 or 5 years. You can now look at it and say, yeah, you know what? If we're going to be getting this amount of money down the road, then we can subsidize some of that money to use in the market this year. We can go in for a James Maddison or a Ben White, 45 million, and pay that over 3 years. And that's a workable scenario. That is something now that Arsenal have had to put into their plan, which they didn't have previously before. But everyone else was doing it. So, but Neomes, to answer your question, I think that I would, in terms of being healthy, I'd spend 100 million this year. I'd put 100. I'd give the front office 100 million, and then I'd say to them, here's your 100 million, and you can generate 60, 70 million by offloading a ton of players that you've got in the club. And that would give the club a good, healthy 150 million to spend.
Okay.
Would you do anything different? Also, Bertram, would you do anything different?
I think we're making this too complex. I think we should just go to Leicester and say, tell us how you do it. Let's just leverage what you do. So I'm jotting some numbers down here. Maguire about 80 mil. Kente 30-something mil. Drinkwater 30-something mil. Morris 60 mil. Chilwell 50 mil. You know how much they pay for those players?
Yeah, they sell well.
That's about over 200 million pounds. They didn't pay over 60 million pounds for those players. Maddison probably they have now, and Maddison probably cost them about 40 or 30, so whatever that number was. They're buying below 50 and they're selling below 60. You cannot lose. You can reinvest. Tielemans, what, 30-something with Tielemans?
Yeah.
They're not spending over a certain amount. So that's what Arsenal is going to do now going forward, which is I want to buy some months of low. I want to buy young players that have sell-on value. We've talked about it ad nauseum. We buy high, they're old, and when we try to get rid of them, we can't even get rid of them for free.
Well,
that business model fails miserably.
It fails miserably, but we have achieved, the last player we achieved that with was Oxlade-Chamberlain. We bought him from Southampton, and then we were able to sell him on and make
but Apollo, you can go down the list of even the Gabriel who went back to Spain, the Mustafis, even the Ozils and the Sanchez, they work out to be zero basically.
Yeah, I know, and I agreed with you, but I used Oxlade-Chamberlain as an answer to your question to say yes.
Well, yeah, in terms of a player. Yeah, in terms of player, but then Holding probably is not a player we can get something from, one for $2 million. But most times we buy players, we're spending over 30 and we're getting back zero. That's not sustainable. We spend over 50 for Aubameyang, over 50 for Lacazette. We can't get that back. Over 70 for Pepe. We can't get that money back. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the reason there was someone who watched my videos the other week, this week, who was asking me that question and saying, why isn't it something that I'm passionate about? I don't talk about it because, firstly, I can't do anything about the past. Yeah, what's done is done. And secondly, these guys have been in here for 18 months. So all this tragedy that we've suffered, it ain't got nothing to do with the guys in power now. The people.
But Apollo, think about this though. For the decision they've made so far, right? Because you see a trend that gets built up, right? Mm-hmm. So I have money. I'm going to acquire something. It was ridiculous in the past about how it works. I'm setting a new standard. I have new processes. When I'm putting this in place, am I seeing anything in the last 18 months that gave me some hope that things will change going forward? I'm telling you, in business, you know what companies do sometimes? They look at most companies do this. They look at what other companies are doing. What am I doing, right? They do what they call kill the company, which is, if I put myself out of business, what it look like, then I put measures in place to mitigate that happening, right? We don't do that. What we do is, we're trying to get immediate success. We go buy supposedly proven material, which are getting on the other side of, because even Partey is going to be old in the tea 2 years from now.
Yes,
Partey, a year, 2 years from now, going to be old in the tea. Right? Yeah. So even your player who's your best player today, 2 years from now, when the young kids maybe get maturing, we're going to lose our CM. Or CDM is going to not have the legs to run in the middle like he needs to. So you're not going to always make the step forward. And we don't have Man City resources to say, you know what, let's go buy something fails, buy someone and replace him. We don't have that.
Of course. I mean, Bertram, you're highlighting something which has been a problem in this club. And to change the culture, that's going to take time. We've got rid of all of our scouting, the people who are, we marvel about Smith Rowe, we marvel about Saka, we marvel about the talent in the team, the young talent, but the guys who brought that in here are all gone. So it's now heavily on the shoulders of the front office and Edu, mainly, to name a few, and his co-workers. So it's hard for me to bash the team when we know what the problems are, and you've said yes, but in the 18 months we've got to judge them. Yes, but at the same time, in the 18 months, Bertram, they've all mostly for what they've been doing, they've been putting out fires, and it's hard. It's hard to have building blocks when you're trying to put out fires. It's like it's the leaky bucket syndrome, isn't it? You patch up that one, water starts gushing through. You patch that one, and water starts gushing through, and you're sort of, it's all patchwork, and before you know it, the walls collapse. And then you've got to restart again. And unfortunately, restarting again is what we're doing now. We are in a situation where we're having to invest from an Arsenal perspective, let's say heavily, because heavily is when Man City went and spent 400 million on their defense to try and get it right. And now they have the best defense in the league. We've got the third best defense in the league. And how much have we spent?
So here's the question, Apollo: Is Arteta trying to recreate the Man City model? Because what you notice is, first of all, he's saying, I don't want any of the players that was here before. I'm going to use what I need to use, but I'm going to get rid of them. Mavropanos, Saliba, I didn't buy them. I don't want them. Secondly, he's saying, I want ball-playing footballers, right? So every one of my footballers should be able to play football. That's why the Ben White match is because Ben White is very flexible, versatile, can fit the different positions. And he's also English, which helps with the homegrown talent.
Yeah, I think the answer to that is twofold. And it's twofold because some of the ideas that were implemented in Manchester City came from Mikel Arteta. So let's get that right. When we talk about the Man City model, Arteta was a big part of that. That's why he was sorely missed when he left. So the answer to your question is partly yes. But the second part to your question is Arteta's doing what he needs to in order to make his philosophies work. Now, when Pep came into Man City, the wing backs they had was horrible. He then went and bought Mendy and Kyle Walker, and everything changed. That whole dynamic, and we can see from Liverpool with Robertson and Gomez and all those guys they've got, Trent Alexander, all those guys flying down the wings. We can see how important that is to a team who's trying to play that type of football, that possessional football from playing that from the back. It means so much. We don't have the players to do that. We don't have the players to do that. So yes, Arteta to a point is following that Man City model, but that's a model that he helped to create. It isn't a model that he stumbled upon.
But the question is, does that model really work? What do I mean by that? So wait a minute, what do I mean by that? So well, look, Pellegrini won, Mancini won. So you haven't done anything that others haven't done with less money, frankly. And secondly, Klopp won with much more money and be much more strategic. Because you're talking about the wing backs, he still don't have a left back. Mendy didn't work out. Zinchenko, whatever his name is, not the answer. They still struggle. Walker has worked out, but they're still struggling on the left. So the question is, has it really worked for him at Man City? So
the answer to that question is we can only tell that within another year or two, because as we've all talked about, it took Klopp 4 years to win the Champions League, 5 years to win the title, and Arteta's been there 18 months. So only time will tell. It's unfair to say we'll give him.
I'm talking about Arteta. I'm talking about Man City. What you're saying, we're trying to employ the Man City model. The question has the Man City model really worked? Given how much resources they expended, Chelsea's won the Champions League twice in the last 10 years, whatever it is, right? 2012 and now. And their model has worked. Abramovich is putting a lot of money. I'm not sure, given their objective, it's not to win the Premier League, no matter what they say. Yes, they would like to have the Premier League. Was to win the Champions League. They already won the Premier League twice before he came. He even brought in to win it. So the question is, is that model working?
So, in my opinion, and I'm talking as a manager here, I'm talking about my experience as a manager, leading staff and managing them and motivating them and doing all the breakdown business analysis and all those key factors in terms of how business works. I'm using Man City's model because it's a basis and foundation for best practice. Now, in business, best practice is the only thing that works. Every company has a sustainable model that they have used, which simplifies growth, and the best way forward in terms of training your staff, motivating your staff, key analysis, on all those different things. Now, we can use Man City as a best practice model. Doesn't mean you have to follow them 100%, but it means that using their foundation, you have the building blocks to use to excel your football team. Now, as me and Bertram have been saying, well, we're not going to know what that looks like for another year or maybe two. But looking at the signs, it's clear that Arteta doesn't have the players that he needs to get that done. So, applaud to the board. You're making it happen. Ben White, who we're going to talk about now, is a big reason for that, for so many different reasons. Of what, I like Rob Holding. I'm a big Rob Holding fan, but he can't play the ball out the back. And then so you look at someone like Ben White who excels at that. He's one of the best in the league at that, statistically, third best in the league. So it's a thing where I'm not going to do anything with the players that are at the club now because they have failed themselves. They failed Emery, they failed Wenger, and they're going to keep on failing. So you move them on. And there's no love loss. I think it was 2 days ago, I uploaded a video where I said, the players don't owe the team nothing. Because when the players get to 30 years old, the team starts to say, you're getting old now, so we'll only give you a 1-year contract if we don't replace you with a 22-year-old or 21-year-old. So you don't owe them nothing.
Paul, I want to say one thing before you go further, which is this. You talk about having a sustainable model in place with your fundamentals and your core, and I agree with that. But you know what throws it all out the window?
What's that?
Outcome. It's all about outcome. So in business, it's all about revenues. You can have all these beautiful processes. You don't generate enough income. You can't pay your expenses. You can't pay your employees. You can't incentivize them. Yeah. And outcome is a perfect example of your team last night. You can't put the ball. I want to talk about defense.
Yeah.
You can't put the ball in the basket, you're going home.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't put the ball in the basket, in basketball, like you see with, the series down there going on and Utah losing when they had a great three-point shooting team, you're going home. So it's the best. People talk all they want to talk about, defense, and we agree, and Ben White is going to be great. But we don't score goals. Last year, we gave up 39 goals, third best in the league, and we still finished mid-table almost. Yeah. That means we're not scoring goals. It's all about outcome. That's why forwards are so expensive.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and that is what's going to be looked at this summer as well. And whether they fix that or not, that's going to be a big, massive key to where they finish next season. The more they work on that and implement the changes, the more success that Arsenal as a football team will have. And
wait 1 second, and I give Neil a hard time on this, and you, Apollo, all of you guys can give a hard time. I am the only person who criticizes Saka. Everybody thinks he walks on water. But Christ said he scored. No, here's my point though. You can't score. You can't be great when you're right or right wing or left winger scoring 5 goals in a season. Sorry.
Listen,
that means you got to take him out. Wait. Say if everybody in the forward line scored 5 goals, how much goals we have? 3 people are playing up front, 15 goals.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere 15 goals unless he put the ball in the net. I'm sorry, you got to be on the bench. I don't care how good he is. So play him at the 10 then. Or play him at the 8 or 6. Don't play him on the wing.
Yeah, so I think my answer is the same in the Omis. I think my answer is the same in the Omis. Saka's 19. He's a developing player.
Guys, don't stop me. Don't stop me with this. So the reason Cracky is liquid, so what you want his money. Come on.
What you want from Saka and what I want from Saka is 2 different things. And I was on board with you at the beginning of the season, but I'm definitely not on board with you now. Because at the beginning of the season, you said, I'd like to see him score 2 more goals. 2 goals and 14 assists the season before. And you said, I'd like to see him improve. Remember, it's not a striker, he's a midfielder.
7 goals and 14 assists. 7 goals in 2 years. We're going relegated. We're going to be relegated.
7 goals last season.
In 2 years in the Premier League. We're going to be relegated. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So
why am I so frustrated with it? You're missing the big picture. Outcome. Always focus on this in life. What's the ultimate outcome? Pepe scored how many goals? 10, and we gave him a hard time. He didn't produce enough. Saka scored 5, and we lauded him because he's 19. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm sorry. You're not scoring, Saka. Come off the bench, then. Come off the bench and develop. But I can't afford you to be out here scoring 5 goals in a season. I cannot afford you.
Right. So I'm now looking. All right. I've just had an error because what it is for me is, you're saying he should be scoring more goals, and look, that's you subjectively saying you think he should be better, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your opinion. I respect that. But what are the 10 best youngsters in European football in the midfields doing right now?
And if they all 10, Apollo, go sit on my bench. All 10 of you. If all 10 of you are so great and you're not putting the ball in the net, because that's how we kill Aubameyang, who scored more than 10 goals, go sit on my bench and watch me play. Willock scored more goals than Saka did, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Willock was more productive than Saka. He saved Newcastle season.
Yeah.
So how are we going to say Saka was so wonderful and awesome and great, and Willock is 2 years older?
Yeah.
Played half a season, scored more goals?
Bertram, he can get better. I think that's the key part.
I can't afford him, Naomis. I can't afford him.
Right, so hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me go through this list quickly. So this is under 20 in Europe. Goals and assists rank. Number 10, Bonior Bashiradil. He's plays for AS Monaco. And then there's Felipe Stefanov, number 9. He plays for... Who does he play for? Oh, he's a Serbian international. Number 8 is Ryan Cherky. He's a forward at Lyon. Number 7 is Bukayo Saka, Arsenal. And then there's Eduardo.
Number 7, and he's playing in a supposedly top 4 team. Hello.
Top 4.
You can't put number 7.
We're not
He's
top
played
4
in the
team.
mid-table. He's played in the mid-table team in the Premiership. Yeah. He's played in the mid-table team in the Premiership. But the only players above him is Eduardo Canvinga, who plays for Rennes. Jude Bellingham. Who plays for... Yeah, he's a baller.
Dortmund, yeah.
Giovanni Reina, who plays for Dortmund.
Well.
Yeah.
International, yeah.
Takafusa Kobo, who plays for... who's a Real Madrid player on loan to Villarreal. Mason Greenwood,
Oh, the Japanese kid? He's ridiculous. I just want to play Jamaica on Japan on the page with Jamaica. He's ridiculous. I'm telling you, he's a star.
The number one player under the age of 20, statistically, goals and assists in Europe, is Barcelona's Ansu Fati. So
yes, and Fati's very good actually.
So the answer to your question is that shows right there why I don't have an issue with Bukayo Saka, because
Apollo.
Hold on, don't say no. Let me say what I'm saying. He's in the top 10 productive midfielders in Europe under 20 years old.
Okay.
That's not enough.
Based on what?
I just said based on goals and assists.
Okay. And he's playing for a team with aspiration for top 4. Now, the kid from Real Madrid doesn't play for a top 4 team. What's his name from France? Kavinga doesn't play for a top 4 team. I'm talking about in their country, frankly. Bellingham does, but Bellingham plays deep. And I'm not sure why spending 45 million on Ben White when it's put 15 on it and go buy Bellingham, for example. Put 15 and go buy Bellingham. A midfielder you're going to have for the next 10, 15 years, can score goals, can keep possession. Why don't you put him beside Partey so you can teach him? Have him there at 17, the kid have a future in front of him, which is ridiculous. Yeah. Why isn't that the strategy? You can set him on probably 2 years from now if you want for 120 mil. Why isn't that the strategy?
I agree, but let's go back to what I said 10 minutes ago. Right now, the front office, the people who are making the decision at Arsenal are still putting out fires.
Well, no, Apollo, because they're buying Ben White for 45 mil. That's not putting out fires.
It isn't, but they're making mistakes as well. Why, Bertrand? Because they're new in their roles. These aren't experienced people we're dealing with. I'm hearing every day they should be doing this, they should be doing that. They're making mistakes here, they're making that. I know why they're making mistakes, because they're new in their roles.
Yeah, Apollo, by need, not one. Don't do like what Wenger did. Wenger never bought a CDM, a key CDM, never bought for all this time. That's what killed him. We played beautiful football and we couldn't defend. No CDM to protect the back 4. Why are you going to buy now a centre back when you have a ton of them? They may not all be excellent, but they're good enough. So we gave up 39 goals last year. Go buy that other person beside Partey. That's what you need.
Yeah,
Bissouma or Bellingham.
Yeah, look, I agree with your statement, but the reason why I believe they're doing it is because of the style of football that he wants to play. As I said to you before, big Rob Holding fan. I think it's fantastic. Most clean sheets in the team last season. But Arteta is looking for someone who matches his style. He wants a guy who's intelligent, reads the game well, great positioning, and can play the ball out from the back. Now, the closest person we have to that description is Gabriel.
Yeah, but he hasn't given Saliba a chance, so we don't know.
Saliba, look. Saliba.
We don't know. We don't know. We can't tell.
I quoted, if Saliba makes a team this season, I would be shocked. Because pure hype from the fan base. He ain't
Apollo. He played beside Fofana. They played well together. Fofana's at Leicester playing well. More versatile, I would agree. But he's at Leicester playing well. So we can't say he wouldn't produce. We have to say, you know what, no matter what anyone says about him, we haven't seen him in games to say, you know what, is he good enough? We haven't. He goes to Nice, he's played them one the first time he got there. They're not a bush league.
It isn't, but then again, there's a reason why he's gone out on loan. There's a reason why we haven't seen him in the league.
So the manager don't like his game. No, yeah. Here's the thing. Arteta likes who he likes. If he doesn't like it, you're gone. He likes who he likes. He doesn't like Guendouzi, he's gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Ozil, he's gone.
Yeah.
Ozil is my favorite player. He doesn't like he's gone.
You just described every manager in European football.
Yeah, but they don't come in and make those wholesale changes like he's doing without pedigree. All the managers who can do that have pedigree. He's the first manager I see with no pedigree who has so much authority and autonomy. Amazing.
Yeah.
What on FA Cup, and he's giving him the whole autonomy to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah. And you know what, Bertram? If it works, then that's great. If it doesn't work, then they'll change it. And then
you and I and Naomi's and told everyone else to pull her hair out that I don't have anymore, and be frustrated over and over and over. So we go rebuild again and we try to rebuilding.
So guys, we've had his picture up for about 15 minutes. So let's talk about him. So
before you go and say this, thanks last night. Apollo joined on our podcast I do. It's a Jamaican podcast. We're trying to get all our English players with Jamaican parentage who are good in the Premier League to come play for us. And we put it out there. If you're listening, English player, if you're Redmond from Southampton. All you guys who look like me in some way, shape, or form, maybe a little bit lighter, and you have Jamaican parentage, come home. They don't like you. They keep calling you out names that you don't like. Come home. We want you.
Yeah, no, it's true. I've been keeping up with the Jamaican national team, who I support wholeheartedly, and even their female team is starting to make waves in world football. So it's really good what they're doing right there. But Neil, before we go into Ben White, anything you want to say about what we just talked about Saka?
I think my thoughts are kind of similar to yours in that I do think he's going to improve. But I do say that when we did our kind of season review, it's quite evident that goals is what we lack, which is what I thought we're going to address in the transfer window, why we was looking at like the likes of Wendy up for goals. And I still think that we need a winger, probably someone that can play both sides, that scores goals. I really do think that. But I'm more than happy to kind of regularly play Saka with that. But we do need to sign someone else that gives us goals.
Yeah.
Apollo, here's the thing, Apollo, we're missing, which is this. When Dortmund played, I'm a beast of that, played Man City, Bellingham was right at home. Wasn't getting pressured, wasn't losing the ball. They could keep the ball. They should have beat Man City, frankly. Not those bad calls. We can't play Man City. We play Man City at Liverpool, we're like fish out of water. Yeah. We can't touch the ball. We're running around like our heads cut off. We need players who keep the ball. Bellingham does. We're giving him 70 mil, the first one of the payments, and take him.
Yeah. Bertrand Arteta knows that. That's the reason why he's jettisoning. That's the reason why he's hitting a reset button on the team and bringing in a whole new different midfield. And hopefully those guys will be able to be on board. Arteta agrees with you, Bertrand. Yeah, we have been bang awful. I said before in the forums, on the one-on forums, when I was talking to Aaron Fizzy and all them guys, and Desse, I was talking to Desse as well, and I was saying to them, you guys forget, you're saying this, you're asking for that, you're dreaming about all these different things. We were the worst playing possessional footballing team in the midfield last season in the league. The lower leagues, we were getting outplayed by teams who were in the bottom half of the league, of the table on a weekly basis, and when we were suffering in games, there was one player who week in, week out, and not every week, but most weeks, when we needed a kick in the backside and we needed that spark and we needed that momentum changer, it was Saka. Saka was the most predominant influence we had in the team last year. That's the reason why he was voted player of the season. And like Smith Rowe, they had some bad games, but as I point out to fans, no footballer has good games every single match. Not even the best footballers have great games every single match. So you are gonna, you look at some of the top players in the team. You look at Harry Kane's performance yesterday. Some of the best players in the league have off days. It's just how the game is.
Sorry. Harry Kane has off tournaments. He has off tournaments.
He does. He does
not about game. I mean, he didn't score the year last year. He didn't score. He won the Golden Boot, being the worst Golden Boot winner in the history of the World Cup. And this year, he should not be on the field. But because you know what, he's the golden child, so he has to be playing. He was the worst player on the field in the last 2 games. Yeah,
I agree. I gave him a 3 out of 10 last night. Yep. I gave him a 3 out of 10 last night. And listen, Bertrand, Bertrand was busy, but Neomis, you were supposed to join us in the second half. And me and Ebony was just absolutely bashing the life out of it. It was crazy. But I digress, guys. Ben White, Arsenal have put forward a bid of 40 million that you guys know that was rejected. My sources tell me there's a 45 million bid, which it will be going through, and Brighton are looking at that with incentives, and it's looking good. It's looking really good at the moment. Taking a look at the player.
We should give Brighton 110 million pounds.
Sorry?
We should be giving Brighton 110 million.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry?
That's 110 million pounds. White, Basama, and Lamptey. We need 3 players from them. Yeah. They can go reinvest the money.
They would, yeah. That's definitely true. Ben White received 5 yellow cards and a red card. He's on 35 grand a week at the moment. And his actual market value, yeah. Let me hit this for Bertram and Neomis. How much do you think his trade market value is before Arsenal put this bid in? What was he worth
30.
On the market?
50 mil.
30.
50 mil.
16 million.
Wow.
It makes no sense because Leeds bid 40 for him before. Then Leeds bid 40 for him last.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he was in the lead
They
side.
were going for 40 and they didn't take.
So
That makes no sense.
so that's on transfers.com that measures the market value of every single player. Saka, by the way, is still worth 94 million. But Ben White,
That's nonsense. I wouldn't pay more than 40 million for Saka.
What?
Those transfers,
that's
I wouldn't pay more than 40 million for Saka.
So okay. So do you think you know that top 10 list of under 20-year-olds we read out in Europe? Do you think that you could bag any of those top five players for less than 40 million?
Yeah, probably. What couple you mentioned who seem to be in bush leagues? Kabu you could get for 40 mil from Real Madrid.
Maybe the guy.
I think he's a ridiculously good player.
Yeah,
I think he's probably better than Saka, frankly. I've watched him play. I'm telling you, he's ridiculous.
So I've been scouting Ben White. He's 6 foot tall. For me, he's a small centre back. Remember, David Luiz was 6'3". Rob Holding's 6'2", Gabriel is 6'3.5", Pablo Mari is 6'4", and so 6 foot is a tweener in my opinion. But and that's the reason why I think that maybe they might be looking for him to play at right back. There might be something that they're doing. I see Neil miss.
That's the only other option that I kept thinking because he's that versatile. It would be a strange one because it would mean that contract talks with Chambers either aren't going that well because they also, I mean, like he played at right back several times last season and played at a DM as well. So he's super versatile. Like that's the only way.
Are you play 3 in the back? Are you play 3 in the back and he's the right of the 3?
Maybe.
I think they'll stay at 4. They'll stay at 4. I think
it depends on who they're playing. We're playing the Man City. They're not staying in 4. It makes no sense. Until you get to their level.
Yeah.
You play 4 against Man City looking begging for trouble. So it could be. What if I want to go 3 at the back? If I want to go 4 at the back, he plays in the center. He plays wide.
And if you play 3, then you have to play Niles in the midfield. He was a dog there. So I think they're going to stick at the 4. They've been trying to get.
Niles is going to play for Watford.
Yeah, they just gave him a 20 million. They just gave him a 20 million price tag today, so they're definitely going to be selling him on. But I think that he's a bit small for a centre back. When I looked at his aerial duels per game, which was 4.8, and a success rate of 54%, that's quite average. So when I looked at that, I thought, that's not the strongest part of his game. The strongest part of his game really is his ability to move into good positions and his positioning. Because as I said, he's not that big in terms of muscle as well. He's not Rob Holding. He doesn't have the body of Rob Holding. But despite that size, he comes up with very impressive defensive duels. As I said, he's number 3 in the league in terms of defensive duels, which is 9.2 per game. That is huge, and that's nothing to do with who he played for, because Brighton certainly gave us a run for our money. Before this season, we couldn't even beat them. Before this season, we couldn't even beat Brighton.
They drew 12 games, I think, so they played well.
Yeah. So defensively, they played well, but he boasts. Now, hear this. This is first in the Premiership, by the way. He boasts a 72% tackle win percentage. Now, to tell you how big that is, Gabriel is the highest on our team with 52%. Gabriel wins half of his challenges. This guy wins 72% of his challenges, which is number 1 in the Premiership. And the benchmark is 70 for elite players in Europe. So this guy's tackling, positioning, and just his awareness, intelligence is off the charts in terms of duels won. So you can see why he's being in such high regard. He's a force on one-on-one. Could you imagine him and Gabriel standing together and them imposing figures? It's just like it'd be like running into a brick wall. So I think from that perspective, although he's not dominant in the air, Gabriel is. His weakness is Gabriel's strength. So they kind of complement each other in that way. So I think that's very interesting to look at. But the other thing that stood out to me with Ben White was his attempts his sliding attempts, defenders run in and they slide tackle in for the tackle, he only averages 0.54 per game, the lowest in the Premier League. So this guy doesn't go down on slide tackles, and his success is about 60%. But he's so good at his positioning, he doesn't need to do that. So it doesn't make him reckless in that way. That's the reason why he doesn't get into a lot of trouble. So for me, that spills great technique, and positivity in terms of not being able to make a last-ditch tackle. The only reason why you make a last-ditch tackle is because you made a mistake. And then we talk about recoveries. He doesn't do a lot of that because he gets it right in the first place. So that is, in terms of what I'm looking at, his key decision-making is exceptional. And that's one of the reasons why Arteta's looking at him. Let me know what your thoughts is on that.
All of that is great if we are selling Mavropanos and Mari. Because I still look at the numbers and I'm like, we've still got just too many centre-backs. If he's coming in to be at times players at a right back when needed, or at times players a centre back when needed, you still have Gabriel and Holden there. Maybe you've got a Saliba, and then Mari and Mavropanos are gone. Then you know what? Then that's acceptable. You got players that can play at centre back. You got four of them. Plus you got Chambers as well. If he stays at right back, then I could see that making sense. But with how it is right now, I really don't get it. Like, I had a video talking about the same thing. I talked about homegrown quota as well. The only reason why maybe Arsenal are interested in him and playing at right back. So let's see how the transfer window goes. But I'm not doubting his ability. He's a quality player. I saw what he did in that lead side coming up. Like, he was like a lot of teams were looking at him, and Brighton could have sold him a year ago. And I think we were looking at him a year ago as well. But like, I'm not doubting that, but let's see how the whole transfer window goes. But yeah, it just must mean that other centre backs are leaving.
So David has asked, do you think that the bid will be accepted? Yes, I do. I do think it would be. I think Brighton are going to cash in, and I think that the player wants to come to Arsenal. That's been made clear by his agent. He's definitely interested in a move, and Arsenal looking with that other bid, it's the incentives that are going to be key, because if they want around 50 million and Arsenal buy for 45, if Arsenal make the top 6, or if they get into Europe, or if they get into a cup final or whatever, the incentives are going to be quite crazy in terms of how much money we're going to owe Brighton. So it's definitely going to happen. I think this is a deal we'll be talking about, which would be done within the next week or two. Bertram,
so here's the question, right? White or Bissouma?
Sorry?
Ben White or Bissouma?
Okay, see, there's so fast.
What's the need and what's the want?
It's always
need. White or Bissouma?
Midfield is where the problem is. Midfield is always going to be first for me.
So why are we going White versus Bissouma? I still don't get it. Why are we giving 45 for White and 45 for Bissouma?
Well, I've already explained it to you, and I'll explain it again, because the next question was going to be paired at you. You've been a big advocate when we won the games, talking about our ability or inability to play the ball out from the back. This guy is one of the best at doing it.
Right.
He averaged 7.5 progressive passes. So I'm not talking about everyone talking about Saka passing the ball and he ain't passing the ball anywhere. This guy is averaging 7.5 progressive passes, which is 4th in the league for centre backs. And that's for a distance of, I believe it's 300 meters or something like that. Those are very impressive stats, showing you in terms of his passing ability, he can do that. That's something that he has in his arsenal, something that is very dear to your heart, Bertram. What's your opinion in terms of his overall skill set? So lacking aerial duels, but very good in terms of his tackling, duels one ability, a progressive passing out of the backfield, very, very good at doing that. What's your thoughts on his skill set?
Look, I mean, it's very impressive in terms of, in today's environment, being able to cover the lines, play one-on-one, winning duels at such an effective and efficient rate, right? That's all great. And look, the aerial is important because historically we haven't been great at set piece. I think we have gotten better over the years, given David Luiz and Gabriel's prowess in the air. So that's helped us quite a bit. And we use Chambers as a right center back to provide also that height. So we've been pretty good in terms of defending set pieces and being able to organize ourselves as a back line to make sure we come out at the right time and get people offside. And I think, look, he has a lot of good skill sets that are very impressive. Leeds wanted him. He was alone with them. They want to buy him permanently. Brighton refused to sell him, but now the price may be right for them. And he may also want a new challenge. So, yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it's not good that aerially he's not where, he's average, frankly, because you do in today's Premier League, if you can't play it on the ground, get through the lines, even though that's where the big teams play, then you want to make sure that at least when you play the Burnleys of the world, you can defend yourself, frankly, and that's challenging. So I do think it's good, but I'm going to go back to the whole point where we have a bunch of centre backs who I think are decent enough. Because they're good last year, prone ways. Gabriel and David Luiz, major culprits. We only gave up 39 goals last year. I say only 39 because it was third in the league. So I go back to the point, which is we need legs in the midfield. We need a Kante-like person in the midfield. That's why Chelsea did so well in the Champions League final.
Yes.
Kante was everywhere. You need legs in the midfield who can, one, when they get the ball, keep it, play the short pass, and two, run down anyone in that midfield, cut off all the gaps, protect the back four. So if I have him, Bissouma protecting the back four, I mean, I need a Ben White, right? If I have Holding there and I have maybe Chambers there, whoever we have in the right position, I mean, that's a concern that David Luiz is leaving, so we have to have cover. And you want to start with that base, a goalkeeper, and the two people in front of him, and the two center midfielders of that, those two back two. I think the need is a Bissouma type player. The want is a Ben White. I want a Ben White to cover either Bissouma to replace Saka.
Yeah, and for the record, I know you've mentioned Bissouma, but yeah, I think he would be definitely a hot commodity. I think but that's a different discussion because this is about our ability to play the ball out from the back, which we're not very good at. And the loss of David Luiz is indicative of this deal.
Yeah, look, it's a great point, right? But I still think playing the ball from the back, if you're in a Holding position, well, Holding can't play from the back. Let's use Chambers, frankly. Holding is clueless playing from the back. To Chambers. I think Chambers can make a 5-yard pass or a 10-yard pass to get to my midfield. My midfield then dictate the pace of the game. They can go back like Anel does all the time, or they can, dip their shoulder and go forward or do something to create space. That's what Partey does, but he's always getting caught in possession. So even though my center back may not be optimum from a ball position standpoint, my midfielder, who is always going to be the link between my forwards and my defense, and going to touch the ball with anybody on the field in a dangerous position, because frankly, my center back will always have time, right? Because he has an outlet in the goalkeeper. My midfielder has to go left, right, forward, and backwards. But he has to have their vision, because it's a very crowded area, to make good decisions and not lose the ball. And when he loses it, he has to be able to win it back. Ben White is not going to be all in those situations where he's constantly in the flow of the game. Sometimes he won't even be in the game, given where he sits.
So the one thing that Arteta will be looking at as well is he's progressive. So we talked about his passing. We talked about his lack of not needed to have recoveries because his positioning is so on point. It's his running out of the box, which we've seen from David Luiz. Gabriel, to a point, does have that in his game, but he struggles a little bit. The league is new to him as well. But his progressive running, Ben White, is superb. It ranks 11th in the league. He completes 0.79 dribbles per game into the midfield. That ranks 10th. And he completes 65% of his passes in the midfield. That ranks 7th. So when we look at this guy, he can be a great asset in a position-based side playing out of the back. There's no real gaping holes in his game outside of the aerial issues. And that's the reason why I think maybe he's going to be playing at right back. Because if you take that out of his game, then this guy is rock solid. But I still think putting Gabriel next to him, whose strength is aerial game. He's not playing right back, Apollo. He's not playing right back. They're not paying 45 million for a right back. Yeah, 45% for right back, they're not doing it. Yeah, I won't know that until we see him play. I didn't think Callum Chambers was going to play right back, yet that's where we are. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Chambers play right back because we had no right back.
we've got Suarez, and we had Niles at the time, and we didn't play them. So
we had Suarez plays for Atletico Madrid. We don't have any Suarez.
So, guys, it'd be good to get your understanding and thoughts of what you think of Ben White. But the next guy we're looking at is James Maddison. Now, James Maddison is probably the reason why we're not talking about Basama much today, because there hasn't been a bid that has gone through for Basama. Even though we have Thomas Partey, El Nene is going to be a squad player. We don't know, yeah. But we're looking at now James Maddison, and I'm hearing from my sources that there's a 60 million bid that's going to go through on Tuesday. So he's interested in coming. There's been a breakdown in relationships with him and Brendan Foster. I know that's been made abundantly clear. James Maddison's told his representatives that he would love to move to Arsenal. I think that they're going to, from what I've heard, that they're looking at getting a deal done for all parties. And I think 60 million, I think, is the right ballpark figure for someone of his ability. People have to understand, we talk about Vardy's goals. Where do you think they've come from? This guy, when we played Leicester City this season and when we played them in the cup, this guy bossed us. This guy done a Grealish on us. And, he's that good. For me, guys, he's impressive. And I say a big thumbs up to this deal. I would definitely get it done. Gerard B saying, big shout out to you, Gerard, and thanks for supporting the channels. I do read your messages when I upload videos every day, so big shout out to you, my brother. Gerard is saying Arsenal will get Basuma or whatever for the midfield. They could still be getting Neves. Neves is on the list as well, and they're just going for the bargain players. Onana, Lokonga. I think actually Onana is a bargain. It wouldn't be a bargain if he was in the position that he was in. And there's a load of teams that are in for him. Lokonga is actually a good find. Like he was off the grid. They definitely done their scouting homework when it came to him. But he specifically was said from his agent that he would have been a player that Arsenal would have looked to develop. So it wouldn't be, he's coming in, playing next to Thomas Partey, and he's gonna replace Saka. That's not what Lokonga was. That's not what he was all about. He was gonna be a player that they would bring in and develop and hope to bring him, just like we did with Oxlade-Chamberlain, just like we did with Guendouzi. He was going to be a young player that we was going to bring in and develop. And he says, and they're key players, they might lose if they don't get them in. Yeah, I wouldn't think that with the pressure that Arteta's under now, that he would be looking at buying development players. That wouldn't be it. For me, it would be just like Mali said. Mali has said, Aouar or Maddison, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at ballers. They're looking at getting results. They're looking at nailing. They failed with Willian last year. Yeah, they put 100 million on black and it came out red, and they lost. They played Russian roulette with Willian and it didn't work. So right now they're going with the youth player. They're going with that adaptive energy, because Willian had no energy last season. He just, the effort was just not there. And I think that was abundantly clear when Arteta finally dropped him in the new year. Lo and behold, our results changed and we had the second best record in the Premiership after Christmas. So I'm a big James Maddison fan. Neomis, what's your thoughts on this deal, which looks likely, not the deal to go through, but the bid? The bid is going to happen. What's your thoughts on this?
In terms of the bid, yes, they should be going after him, but I can't see this one going through. Listen, I'm a big fan of James Maddison. I think that he can be just as good as the likes of Jack Grealish. Yeah. And I personally think that he's too good for Arsenal. That's why I don't think that we're gonna get him. And if Arsenal was to get him for 60 mil, I'd be gobsmacked. I would actually be shocked. I refuse to talk about Maddison on my channel because of that, because I think he's too good for Arsenal. I think he should be playing Champions League football. Like he's that good.
Okay, so here's the deal. So I'll tell you what my source at Arsenal told me.
Okay.
Top 4 teams are not looking at him because they have their positions filled already. Yeah. And then when you look at the likes of Wolves, we don't know what's going to happen with Neves, and Wolves don't have that money anyway. They don't have 60 million. When you look at Villa have already spent 40 million on Buendia, so that's not happening. The next best team is Arsenal. And with Arsenal, they're not really a mid-table team. They're a team that should be playing for top 4. So you know that's the ambition. The ambition for Arsenal is to get back into the top 4. And with Arsenal, you're going to play. Yeah, if you go Chelsea, if you got Man City, if you got Liverpool, are you going to play every single game if you're James Maddison? No. You're not going to play. But the biggest problem for me is his relationship with Brendan Rodgers, which is completely broken down. That is the key factor.
Well, I'm glad that it's happened because it gives us that opportunity to kind of go in there. And I think for Arsenal, I can understand also why they've gone into him because, I mean, a lot of people are not kind of pointing this out, but our homegrown quota is very low. We're only just about qualified for it. Once we sell Bellerin, we've got a problem. We got to replace him. You sell Maitland-Niles, he has to be replaced. So that's why I'm sure you'll go into it and you look at the other rumors as well, why a lot of them tend to be English players because we need to replenish stock. And this, if we go after him and if Leicester accept the bid, I'd be happy. Like for me, like that'd be the signing of the summer, because even though I love Smith Rowe and I like to give my academy players their chance, yeah, he is on that next level. And don't get me wrong, they could probably play together. You could find a way to make it work. And I know everybody's talking about Odegaard, but like Smith Rowe and Maddison miles ahead of Odegaard. Miles. Yeah. Like, and what I think Maddison's only like 23, 24. Like he's
23.
He's 23. Like he's developed well. Like I remember seeing him on Nketiah's debut. He was the one that assisted Murphy for the goal. Like he's been around for a while now, and I'm just still shocked to see that Arsenal could actually be going for a quality player like him. So I hope the bid goes through. I really do. But yeah, I'd be happy to see him at Arsenal.
So Bertram, I had something for Bertram and it's just pumped out of my yes, I do. Bertram, when Colin said to me that we're going to be putting a bid in this week for him, he said to me, "What do you think, Apollo?" He goes, "You think it's a good deal or not? Would you do it?" Do you know what I said to Colin, Bertram? You'll love this. I said to him, I would love James Maddison, but if the decision was mine to make, what I would do is I would phone Leicester and I'd say, Leicester, you're putting James Maddison up for sale. Great, that's nice. I wish you all the best with it. But can you give me the details of the player that you're going to buy to replace him? And that's where my bid's going. Because these teams have the ability.
Finally, you're thinking like how I think. My first question I was going to say to you, why are you selling him? You said in relation stars and managers. It's like Pep will have disagreement. You're selling. How are you reinvesting? Is it going to be like how you took Maguire money go buy but 3 players, including Fafana? Same way you took that money go buy Tielemans. You took money go buy. Who are you buying? Leicester. The person Apollo. Same thing I'm thinking, which is, but put them in there more positive by Grealish. You got Grealish. Grealish is ridiculously good. Grealish doesn't lose the ball with 3 players around him. It's like a joke. I watched him dribble line yesterday. He doesn't know how the pressure is. He's an arrogant player. Any other English player, including Harry Kane. He cannot be compared. His game is different. His game is a unique game. So when you have him on your team, they're playing with 10 men and 9 men. Don't let him. So somebody's always free. Always thinking about in football, what does it mean to have this one player? What does it create for me? Season, he was injured for quite a bit of the season, but he creates so many mismatches and he forces your defense to compromise so much. If you have very good players around him, think about he plays a bit and he plays chances. If you give him more players who have the same capability, $10 million this week, it's a lot of money for Maddison. And he seemed like he's a problem child too.
Yeah, I mean there's obviously an issue.
But you can't be on the, if you're not on the field, you're not important.
Yeah, and as I said,
very good player.
That's going to hurt Jamie Vardy's production a whole bunch, because when I see this guy, I mean, this guy, when you look at Ceballos, Xhaka, when you look at our midfield, they get the ball from the defense and then they punch around with it and they play it backwards and they play it sideways. This guy picks up the ball and runs at your defense. This guy is not when you talk about players running with urgency, this guy's at the top of the list, man. This guy, you know, for me, you can compare him to a Grealish. How many players can you actually compare to Jack Grealish in this league? Not much. You know, not much. A couple on one hand, but this guy comes into the argument. Maddison is astonishing. His talent level is astonishing. And we talk about ceiling, remember? He's 23 years old. This guy's 2-3 years away from his prime.
So here's another question for you guys. So Maddison came from the championship. Ben White came to the championship. Ivan Toney's come to the championship. Vardy came to the championship. Rob Hogan, all these players to the championship who are much cheaper in League One and the championship. What we're looking for, Dele Alli came to the same avenue. What we're looking for those gems in there and go pull them off for little or nothing. And you know what? If it's too fair that we get one success and they call $15 million in total, you're successful. Why we go trying to go buy these 60, 70 million players when other people go buy them for 10, 15 million? I don't understand those logic.
No, you're absolutely right.
There are gems there, a lot of gems there, a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Look at Calvin Phillips, for example.
Yeah.
Now that's a midfielder in my team. Can make a 40-yard pass on the dime, run all game, always fit, right? Energy to burn. That's the player I would like in my team.
But it's funny you say that, Neomis. Before I let you go, when we were talking about Patrick Bamford in the preseason last year, because we were talking about Eddie Nketiah, and we were saying, oh, Patrick Bamford, he's only worth about 5 million. How much do you think Patrick Bamford's worth now?
Yeah, no, I'm still not a Bamford fan, I'll admit, but he's done really well, right? He's done really, really well. But also, what's his name? Ali Watkins came through that avenue also. Ali Watkins come from League One to the Championship to the Premier League and is playing really well, frankly. So there are gems down there. Go find them and stop giving the 60 and 70 million player who 2 years later they are worth nothing for us. Invest smartly.
A bit different with Maddison because he's 23, so in 2 years he'll be 25.
I agree with Maddison, but it's still 60 million. It's a lot of money. We don't have Man City money. When we spend 60 million, it doesn't work. We say, you know what? That's a write-off. I can go sell some or some of my Apple stock and just replace it my server platform. We don't have that ability. Kroenke's not selling his estate or his football team to go fund Arsenal. Now, here's the question: is he funding us with debt? I think we just assume people don't realize that. You know, Man City have a lot of Chelsea's a lot of debt, but it's Abramovich debt. You go right to the left hand. It's still a lot of debt on Chelsea's book. Are we funding with debt?
Yeah.
So someone is complaining.
Yeah, Bertram's internet connection is suffering a little bit. Yeah, it's freezing up a bit. Neomis.
Oh, it's mine?
Yeah, it's you. What I was gonna say is, yes, we should be looking at the championship when it comes to actually recruiting players. Like I honestly think we're missing the boat on that one. And for me, with Arsenal's perceived lack of funds, like I don't know. The problem is that in the past year we haven't been structured to be able to do so, because you need to have a proper scouting team to be able to go up and do that. You know, and like, listen, Maddison is good, but you know, I think you said it at the beginning of the stream. You know, we gotta be thinking more long term, like how we did when we were under Wenger, instead of this whole shortism that seems to be going on. And yeah, we just have to get it right. I get the whole thing that at least our starting 11 needs to have some experienced players with some sell-on value, but kind of the wider squad, that we have to be looking for those gems.
Yeah, and we've got Femi says, guys, Arteta is not under any pressure of losing his job. Agreed, because the board, but the board have bought into his business plan. And what some people don't seem to understand is if you go into a recycle system of sacking a manager like Watford, remember what they used to do? They used to sack a manager every 6 months, and then they'd bring the old managers back, and then and didn't get them anywhere. They still got relegated because if the team has a fundamental problem in the foundation, don't matter what manager you use, you're going to get the same result. How many managers did Man United gone through since Fergie left? You're just going to be going through that recycle. And the problem with Arsenal fans is they think that they can get a Tuchel. They think that they can get Max Allegri. No, you can't. Do you think those guys would come to Arsenal? You're kidding yourself.
I think if you're spending money, if we can sell some of the players that we have, even though, frankly, I look at my list, the highest one is Willock, frankly, we can get money for. Just as sad. And it's not probably more than 25 million Newcastle going to pay. Amen 20, Willock 25, Marapano 7, Saka 15 to 18.
Hold on,
Bellerin
7
20.
for Mavro.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that sounds about,
that's 7. Yeah. Shaka 15, Bellerin about 20, and Torreira about 20 if you're lucky. That's 100 mil. Add up. So that may be Ben White and Maddison. That's how they're thinking about it. Then you go put another 50 mil in the kit and go get a midfielder or 2, depending. One from the kid from Belgium, and then somebody else. That's the way. But you still need a right back. So how are we going after go back to Leicester and say, give me James Justin or give me Pereira injured his knee? 2 very, very good right backs. Both have been injured, but 2 very, very good right backs. One of the
Do
2.
you really think we're going to sell Cedric? Because I don't
you
think
can't give him
Cedric's
away.
going anywhere.
I don't think. You can't give him away.
Yeah, I don't. They liked him. That's why they bought him. So I don't know what's going on there.
They didn't do the due diligence. I'm sorry. They bought him. Yeah, they didn't do the due diligence.
Guna Matres says the best partner would be Basama. He is more a mobile player. Neves is too flat-footed. Rodrigo De Paul is also a good prospect, but Maddison is the tried and tested best option. Yeah, I think so as well.
No, I think Basuma is the best option.
Mally said it's exactly what she was thinking as well. Who would they replace Maddison with? Seriously, that's how Jose Mourinho used to play his games, We also got a shout for Michael Ollis. Palace got Redding. Yep. Guna also says,
yes, good point.
Yeah, Mally, I did a player profile on Michael Ollis, and he has the ability to play against the big boys. Yep. There's definitely a way forward for them, but nevertheless, I think that he's at the right age at 23. He's an investment because if he does work out when he gets to 26, 27, if he's going to be worth big bucks, you can get 100 million for him. So hey,
I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see getting 100 million from Maddison.
So guys,
can shoot from outside the box, can make a pass, but I don't see him being 100 million player.
So guys, Hussein Awar price drop. They were looking for.
Be careful on price drops.
they were looking for 50. Well, he didn't play well last season. Now I reported about 2 weeks ago. His agent said he's looking to join a team that's in the Champions League. So. And that was when we inquired about him. Arsenal called, inquired about him. What's the players' availability? The team said players available to buy this summer. The agent said my player wants to go to a team in Champions League. So I turned around to Arsenal fans and I said, forget it, ain't gonna happen. Don't look at Awar this season. Now I don't know whether he's changed his mind. Obviously, his agent hasn't said anything about it. None of the contacts that I know have said anything about it. He could have changed his mind. I don't know.
I always find it interesting when a local player, like Awar. So think about La Liga. Think about the Premier League. When you have a local player born in that country, a citizen of the country, that's in the national team. He's not in the national team, frankly. And the local team like PSG or Madrid or Barcelona or Man U are not pursuing you. I have concerns. Or a Bayern. I have concern. Why are they pursuing you when you also are in need for them? PSG need a number 10. You need somebody to get the ball to all those forward they have up front. Why are they trying to pursue Aouar? What are they seeing that I'm missing?
Well, I mean, apart from inquiring about his availability, I haven't heard anything to on my side. I haven't heard anything concrete about Aouar. But who knows? I mean, Arsenal are so tight-lipped at the moment. Even the agents that I know were surprised with the Lokonga deal. Nobody, that was so left field. Everyone was like, "What?" Including the Ben White. None of them knew that Ben White was going to happen.
I always think it's a follow. All those kids who can't get work permit to come to the UK, they go to Austria, they go to Belgium. That's where they go in those leagues to park them until they get work permit. That's where you put your scouts. Because they're some of the best players who develop academies overseas. They bring them there to get them the work permit. Then they go to the bigger leagues. So why don't you look at these players, whether it's David, the Canadian David who went to France, or Daka, which talked about for Leicester's pursuing, or this kid, they all get parked there.
So Nayaba says she thinks that we should go for Maddison as well. Guna Machez says, question, would you take both Basuma and Maddison, or take Basuma and then mold Ben Cottrell ill? As I would take Basuma and Maddison and get this team to the top four. I would do anything to get this team into the top four. Our midfield was a position of weakness, and our strikers suffered because of it. There was a lack of creativity, although Bertram tends to believe that the front three should create their own, and he's right to a point. He's strongly passionate about that, Bertram is. But in terms of the old style of football, your creative midfielders help and assist your strikers. But if you have a set of strikers that can create, like Pepe and Saka, then you're halfway there. Yeah? It's just that you need to have the man. If Martinelli was the point striker, if he was the anchor man, and he had Saka and Pepe on the flanks, they wouldn't even need to worry about the midfield, because that's your creativity right there. Pepe, Martinelli, and Saka, bang! That's your front three. That's your goals, your assists throughout the whole front line. But it would be nice if the midfield chipped in. We had next to nothing in terms of goals and assists. When you got men like Ceballos and Xhaka giving you 1 goal, 2 assists, year in, year out, you can't build a team on that.
So why is anyone asking about Willock? I'm curious.
Well,
so
Willock,
about everybody else.
He's not going anywhere. He's will be there.
Willock,
but I'm saying I'm not hearing anyone to say put him in the team, right? The team is a bench player, and if you score and he scores goals, period, not just for Newcastle. He was scoring in the Europa League. He scores screamer against Liverpool. He's put the balls in the net. That's what he does. He's a box-to-box like Aaron Ramsey with a little more defense to his game. Yeah. So if that's the case, why aren't we thinking about him in the midfield until he fails?
Yeah.
Put him in until he fails.
Yeah. I think that they'll definitely. He's going to get some minutes. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. They can play him.
Or he's going to be playing for Newcastle, one of the two.
No.
No, because he will not accept. Hey, look, Naomis, when you go someplace and you've had success, you will not accept anything except you playing. That's why AMA is going to leave. He has a or sell me.
He's got a contract. He's got a contract. He's not. No, Willock's not going anywhere. I don't get kicking and screaming. He's not going. Sit on the bench. When we need a goal, we're bringing you on. You play, you score, then you start the next game. That's how it's got to be.
You're playing 90 minutes a game. You didn't play every game for Newcastle, but you're a hero. You're a star. You're a big fish in a small pond. And you go back to the big pond, they're telling you go sit on the bench. And what do you say? My agent, get me out of here.
Yeah, because Neomis, the thing about Neomis is you walk back into that Arsenal training ground and you said, and here it is. You're saying at the turn of the year, I scored more than the Arsenal's entire midfield. I scored more goals by myself than Arsenal's entire midfield. And you're going to put me on the bench.
He's not.
By the way, that's not the point I'm making. By the way, guys, I scored against West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City. Yeah. You guys can get the ball on your feet, and I scored against even a lesser talented team. You put me on the bench, me, Willock, who like to fight private jet, just making 20,000 a year. Have a big ego already? That's not happening. Not happening.
Okay, so here's a question. Here's a question, guys. Okay. Newcastle are tabling a 40 million bid for Joe Willock. Would you take it? Deal or no deal?
No, I'm not taking it.
No,
Personally,
no.
Apollo, I've said this from a long time ago before he got to this point, which is we rate him. Right? We have said we rate him how much? It's about degrees, but we rate him. And we can see development. A kid that had 1 foot longer than the other and was struggling when he first was 17 years old. Why are you on the field? When we put him on the field to now, you're just looking at him saying, I could see you being a Lampard type player. Lampard didn't have any skill.
No. I told you and Naomis and Tony that he's a David Rocastle type player. It's almost as if I'm looking at the second coming of David Rocastle. And fans who watch games at Highbury would tell you that he just looks, oh my God, it's just, go back and watch some YouTube footage of David Rocastle and you will see Joe Willock.
Willock needs to play with a little more energy, like AMN needs to in the midfield, because they go at the same pace 24/7. You don't see that speed up. But he has decent speed, he has decent skill. So you got to refine his game. But the question, where would he play? Because he really doesn't fit any place. He doesn't fit as a 10, doesn't fit as a 6 or 8 clearly. It's a struggle to fit him in because it doesn't fit anywhere.
And that's the thing is Smith Rowe would have to, you're talking about the number 10 and the number 8, yeah? Willock is more of a number 8.
But he's not a true 8 because the energy that you need is not always there, right? Energy is a little bit lacking. He plays at a very slow, long stride pace. He's not on you, right?
That's why he can't start.
That's the problem. He plays defense, but the defense is not what he needed to be.
Yeah. So he's more of a 10, you're saying then?
That's what I'm saying. He's a hybrid. He doesn't really fit any place. He's not a true 10. Just fit the defense with a pass. He's not a true 10. He's not a true 8.
Yeah.
He's a challenge. That's why I struggle with him.
But that's because you need a 10 that can also drop back. That's why him and Smith Rowe will work well, because Smith Rowe can play in central midfield. So every time Willock is coming forward, Smith Rowe just drops back into midfield and lets Willock go.
Yeah, the problem in today's Premier League is that you need a dog in your 10, in your 8 role playing. You need 2 dogs in there, or like you see with Rice and Calvin Phillips. I think Rice is overrated, frankly. But anyway, you need 2 very strong people in there to give you more freedom to your front 4. Right now, your front 4 have to do too much work coming back. You don't have the dogs covering left, right, center going forward. You need 2 people in there with legs provide coverage. And Partey's legs are going. I'm not sure you guys. I'm not sure he's 28, as they're saying.
I just think he needs a preseason.
I think the versus has been amended, but that's just me.
I think he'll be great next season. I think that he needs a preseason. The injuries just took him apart last season. This one's for you, Neomis. Should Arsenal go for Basama first before Maddison?
No. The thing is, I don't think we're gonna get Basuma anyway. Like, I don't see it. I don't see Arsenal spending 40 million on a backup. And Basuma, I always see as
he's not a backup. He's a starter.
No, he's a backup. No, he's not playing next to Tom. Yeah, he's not playing next to Partey.
If we didn't have Partey, I would say go and buy him now. But you
exactly.
No, he's a perfect fit. Partey is making defense spinning passes like a 10 does all the time. Yeah. He needs more latitude because his defense is not the greatest. Yeah. He's sluggish running back. You need the legs to cover. You need a Kante to cover for Partey.
Yeah.
Partey has long he doesn't run you down. He times that can put his foot out, his long legs out. That's how he tackles. He doesn't tackle with that rabbit type. Going after you like a Kante. We need that.
And look, guys, many teams play with 2 holdings. So in that respect, you compare Partey with somebody of similar status.
Partey has offensive skills in his game, not shooting.
Yeah,
he kicks field goals, but he makes those look away passes like a Thiago does.
Partey's got so much in his game. Partey's got so much in his game. I would. I'd take Maddison before Basuma. I
don't think it's close.
I think it's close. Maddison would change the whole dynamic of our game. It's true. I mean, looking what he does for Vardy, I'm sorry, I'll take Maddison all day long.
No, I'm telling you, it's not close. Wait. I have Ben White, I have Basuma, I have Partey, I have Gabriel. I have 4 rocks. So I'm done there. You know what? Let me go figure out the other part of it. My center, my gut, my core is solidified for the next 4 or 5 years. Now I'm saying that's done. That's complete. I gave up 39 goals last year. Should get up less this year with that core. I need a right back. I go get some right back. And then I figure out up front, what do I do with my 2 old men who are getting long in the tooth? I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I got 2 young kids up there to help them. I may have a Willock, as you say, we're bringing now and then to be in the 10 or someplace floating. And I go get a, Martinelli is there. We need a 10, a true 10. Maybe I get Awa for as a plug for 20 million. 20 million is not expensive.
Yeah, guys, to everybody who's watching, hit that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We actually passed 5,000 yesterday, which I was surprised with because
congratulations.
we were approaching 5,000 and nearly hit it, and then I was off with COVID, and you guys were holding the fort, but we kind of dropped back.
So you got to come on my Jamaican program. We can get some of those Arsenal fans.
Yeah, actually, for real.
No, because what they do is they promote a lot. They have a lot of YouTube channels in Jamaica, by the way, guys. A lot.
Yeah. Have you been promoting us, Bertram? Have you been promoting us?
Yeah. But they get at the minimum 200 plus because we go on tonight, like at 8 o'clock. They get at 200 plus on the stream live all the time, right? And I see his channel growing from like 5,000, 6,000 in less than a month. So you cross promote.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good place. I'm coming back on there because I love the realism in there. I love the realism. Bertram, this one's for you from Mali.
Yes, I love him. But I don't think he's going to come to us. I heard he wants to go to Real Madrid.
He's going to be expensive.
He's going to be expensive, but he's young and he's good.
He has it all.
So the question is, do we say, you know what? We will sell you for 100 mil. Come to us for 2 years. If we're not where we need to be, we sell it for 100 mil. It's a contingency plan. And you can blood in with us. You go to Real Madrid, they're going to put you on the bench. Come to us for a couple of years. And if it works out, you stay with us long term. If not, we sell you on for a big fee.
And again, so we talk about Saka's 94 million worth, and when the fans, we had a poll 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about all the other top 4 teams selling Coutinho, selling Gareth Bale, selling Eden Hazard, selling all these players that have been brought bags of money into Liverpool, Chelsea, and all these other teams. And when I put to them sell Saka for 90 odd million, Arsenal fans are like, no, we're not selling Saka, we're kicking. So it's almost like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say we don't produce players and we don't sell them at a high amount and we don't bring in money. And on one hand say, well, we have Saka, this huge, massive commodity that is one of the top 10 best talents in Europe. And when somebody comes into him like a Barcelona, Real Madrid for 95 million, you don't want to take it. So
it says 65 million transfer market, right? 65 million euro actually.
No, it's been recorded at 94 million. The agents have told me months ago. I told you months ago. Remember, that's his base value. We looked at Ben White's base value at 16 million. Yeah, they're talking about 45 million. So it's kind of, the base value is very difficult in football right now with the way how teams are. You pay what the market value is. He's a young, progressive British player. As I said, in the England national team, in the last 5 games before the tournament, had 3 out of 5 man of the matches, and you don't even put him on the bench against Scotland.
So here's the question, guys. No, I disagree. So here's the question. Sancho is being quoted at 95 mil. Is Saka at Sancho's level? No,
I don't think he is, because I think
there's going to be 1 million difference between the two in terms of price.
Well, Sancho has more mileage than he does. So again,
Sancho is like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, but he's still got more mileage.
He's been playing longer. Yeah,
he's been playing longer.
That means he should be valued much more because he's done more.
No, I don't think.
What was his stats last year? Double figures for both assists and goals.
Yeah, I don't think, and that's what I'm saying. You're not going to see the true side. Saka's going to get better and better and better every year as he goes on. His assists, his goals, his creativity, all of that is going to improve. So you're not seeing the finished article with Saka. You're nowhere near finished. It's the same with Martinelli. I dogged out Martinelli last year when we did the player ratings. I gave him a 6, and the year before I gave him an 8. So Martinelli, remember Neomis when I said the one with the most to prove? I voted it's Martinelli. Martinelli's got to come back stronger this year because Hadland for Borussia Dortmund scored 37 goals last season. So he's got to come back big. Gunnar says, "What do you think of our academy? Is it worth having? The idea of an academy is to feed the senior team. Why aren't the kids get?" That's how Arsenal have predominantly worked. The European model and the South American model has always been slightly different. And we actually saw when Raul Sanelli came in, and Raul Sanelli said, we're going to get rid of that, we're going to get rid of that. And he sold Vinay and Josh Kroenke, the idea of using your own in-scouting team and following the networks. Because let's face it, the way how the model works now is you go to a scouting company, which is what Sev Mislintat does, by the way. Now, Sev Mislintat has his own scouting network. So he doesn't so much belong to a team anymore. He has a development program so that if teams are looking for a player, he can say, well, I have this player, he can do this and he can do that. I can send him out to you on trial. You can have it for preseason and let me know what you think. And then if you like him, then we can talk dollars. That's how the models really change. So in terms of how you see Arsenal work under Raul Sanelli in the transfer market and all these other things, and that was all changed, that's now happening with our scouting network with Edu in charge. That's now changed to a more European model. And that's the reason why we're seeing things like academies a thing of the past now. They're still going to be there, but the investment to have an academy is proven very expensive for many teams. And a lot of the teams like Chelsea and them, they have academy players now, but it's much more smaller than it was 5 or 10 years ago. It's just the way how football has changed over time.
Yeah, I think that the need to win put pressure on you using the academy as your main source of funding your football team or populating your football team. Just think about Man U, who had that elite class way back when. How many players have come through in bunches? You have Rashford, you have Greenwood, but not in bunches anymore. Right? You can't afford that as a organization. And if you have a lot of money and your team and your fans want immediate success, we're not going to go buy the best talent because there's a lot of talent in the world, right? It's only a small amount. The UK is only 68 million people, and you have countries that have 3-4 times that population. So by ratio, and naturally, you're going to expect by probabilities they're going to get talent from other places, especially where people are very focused on football as a way of supporting their families. And spend more time learning the craft. And you also have coaching, which is improving in the rest of the world. So it becomes very difficult. But Chelsea has done a good job. You think about Reece James and Mount and Abrams and all of that. But they have the most money. Man City's doing it now because they're paying under the table to those families to get the best players. Sancho didn't just come cheap. I'm sure they paid a lot of money. Foden, they don't come cheap. Those exceptional talent don't come cheap.
Yeah,
under the table money's being passed. It may not be obvious, but it is.
Edu's got all of his contacts in Europe and South America. And, Edu's a man that brought Martinelli on board. And in that summer when we bought a whole heap of players, Martinelli was the one player that nobody was talking about. Everybody said, we made a signing. And when you checked, it was like an 18-year-old South American who's never played. And everyone was like, all right, let's move on to the next one. Who else are we going to get? Everyone just batted away Martinelli, and he made the biggest impact in terms of, a youth player coming in at that position as well. So we talk about Balogun, and Nketiah and what he's done. But Martinelli's the man that's carrying the swing. Yeah, Martinelli's the man that looks like he's going to be the next Ronaldo. Balogun don't look like he's going to be the next Ronaldo. But he had tried some of the big teams, though. He had tried with Man U and a few of the big teams, actually. Yeah. And it didn't work out. Sometimes they have misses, actually. So Guna says, let's sell Willock. He won't play for 7 games on the trot. This is indicative of Maitland-Niles, who was worth 25 million, made the England team the season before. Wolves put in a bid for him. Arsenal said no. And now you'd be lucky if you get 15, 20 million for him. So will Arsenal do that? Will they do a Maitland-Niles with Joe Willock? I don't know.
That'll be a big
one. Well, the man was brilliant in the FA Cup run, wasn't he?
He was.
So that run increases value. That's like tournament football does. Increase your value if you have 3 or 4 good games in a row.
And Dino says they should go for NDD. That's what Bertram, that guy, Jamaican American sitting on the bottom there in the blue shirt. You're talking his language.
I'm British by birth. Let's be clear on that. I'm a British.
I know you're British by birth.
I know you're British. It's expired now, but I still have it. Bertram is a huge fan. He wanted NDD. He wanted an. Well, he's Kante. He's Kante in disguise. Yeah. That's good going forward, but he's Kante in disguise.
Yeah. Aya Ramsey is from Canada and says, greetings. What's going on to you, man? Thanks for supporting the channel. I hope you like us and are subscribed to the channel and enjoy all of what we do here. As I said, it's a community channel. The description for the channel is in the description below in this video. You can find it on the channel. Join our forums. Get involved in all the chats we have every day. We're crazy about Arsenal. There's pure banter on the page as well. Bertram thinks sometimes it's a bit too much. I agree with him. But it's a great community. So, so join us, man. Thanks for keeping hold and tight and talking about 101 in the way that we want to be talked about. I just want to pose, I'm going to go through a few questions here, which is our players that are on loan. And I'm going to ask the panel, which ones would you keep and which ones would you get rid of? Let's start from the top. William Saliba, does he stay or does he go? Bertram and Neomis. Neomis.
He stays.
He stays?
Stays.
Bertram, he stays. Maitland-Niles, stays or goes?
We can use a 20 mil. We can use a 20 mil. We can use a 20 million. Look, he's a good player, but I think if we can get 20 mil, we should bite their hands off and take it.
Yep.
Excellent. I tend to agree with you. Although I would sell William Saliba. I wouldn't keep him. I'd get rid of him. The coach doesn't like him. The manager is not a fan. They didn't buy him. If you can get 25 million for him.
Look, Jose didn't like Pogba. Jose didn't like Shaw.
Yeah, he didn't, but they like
out, so don't disagree. That's the problem.
But the difference is if selling a Saliba means you get Ben White, then do it. Yeah? If you're selling a Saliba means
you get Ben White. I think Saliba is going to come back to haunt us, just like how Nabry has and Malin has from. He can come back and haunt us. I think he will.
Yeah, and look, and that wouldn't be any fault of anyone else, but Arteta don't like the guy, so there's not much you can do about that. Ben Schiff, keep or sell?
Sell.
Yeah, I agree with that. Daniel Ballard, keep or sell?
Keep.
I vacillate on this. I'll go with Neomis and say keep.
I would sell. Harry Clark, keep or sell?
Sell.
So.
Yeah, same. James.
Sell.
I was about to pronounce his surname and then Bertram just said sell. Yeah, I would sell him as well.
Sell.
Joe Willock.
Untouchable.
Keep.
Untouchable. At least this year, untouchable. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Jordan Geordie Tutu. Keep, sell for me.
Keep.
That's a tougher one. I'm gonna say sell.
Yeah.
If you don't prove it by a certain time, then you gotta go.
Yeah, then you gotta go. That's the whole Wenger way. Mavropanos, keep or sell?
Sell.
He's never gotten a real chance. He played once under Wenger or twice. He got a red card, but he didn't look out of place. He's done really well where he is.
In fact, he played 2 games in the trot next to Callum Chambers, and they both had clean sheets.
Yes, he was a very good player. Look, you have to sell.
Before that, we were leaking goals. You
have to sell because we don't have a choice. You have to sell.
Yeah.
But we need the money. Yeah. But it shouldn't be 7 million. Right. It should be like 15 mil, but that's just
Lucas Torreira, keep or sell?
Sell.
Italy.
Yeah, I'm a big Torreira fan, but Arteta don't like him, so I have to sell him.
So now 20 million.
Mark McGuinness, that is a keep for me. Keep for me
all day long.
He is big time. Matt Smith, Charlton Athletic, keep or sell?
Keep.
So.
Yeah. Keep.
Matt Smith, we done Matt Smith. Guendouzi, keep or sell?
He needs a psychologist, so sell. You can't help him.
Yeah. He was my favorite player under Guendouzi.
He has mental issues. That's mental issues. You got to sell him.
Yeah, he doesn't have a future here. As much as it hurts me, he doesn't have a future here. Klasnach, I'm gonna skip that because we all agree that he should.
No, we're not touching him. Give him away.
You know what?
Don't sell. Keep away.
You know what?
Please take him off my hand. Please, we beg of you.
Schalke said, "Hold on, you cancelled Ozil's contract and Socrates' contract and gave them up players for nothing, and you want us to play for Klasnach? Get out of here!" That's what Schalke was like. What do you mean you want us to play?
He's not taking less than 100K a week, so I'm not sure he's easy to cancel his contract. Yeah. He's not taking less than 100K.
Tyrese John Jules, keep or sell?
How old is he now?
keep 19.
He's 19, but I would sell him because I think Balogun's a better player.
Yeah, sell him with a sell on. Sell him with a sell on.
I think Balogun has got more of a ceiling. I think I'm going to get more out of Balogun than I am John Jules. That's why I would sell John Jules.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Zach Medley because actually there's been an offer that's been put in for him, and he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, Zach Medley's gone, and I liked him as well. I liked him big time. Any other transfer news? Yeah, we're coming to that. We're going to spend the next 15-20 minutes closing that up.
Yes, has come up through the ranks that are on the immediates to come up. There are a couple of people who have come up, names come up.
Oh, Keto Hart.
No, Keto is signing. We're trying to get Keto to come play for Jamaica, by the way.
Yeah, and that's.
But the JFF is joking, so that's another story.
Yeah. Sentiment, big shout out to you in the chat, man. Big shout out to my man Sentiment. It's that Edouard last year when he was linked had the financial difficulty. I mean at the moment they're still interested in him, although I think they might be going in another direction.
I think they're going to Leicester. Isn't he going to Leicester?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. He's going to Leicester. He's going to Leicester.
Yeah,
Leicester is smart in the acquisition. So
yeah, I definitely think that that's something that they like the player, but they're going to go in another direction.
Yeah, a lot of League One teams are in a challenging situation. They don't have good TV deal. They didn't have fans last year. They closed on the league early last year. They should be in financial challenges for most of those teams, apart from the PSGs of the world. We should be rating that league for players.
Goodera says, I do have a channel and I need some feet on it. Need advice, but the content like yours does not work here. So you can chat about that when we do watch-alongs. If you want to come on the panel and give us your thoughts and promote your channel, then I've got no problem with that, mate. Yeah, I'll give you pointers. You can chat to me on Twitter, chat to me on the forum. I'm always on there. I'm always around to help. No problem with that from me, mate. Gerard says Arteta is building a bomb squad from back to Arteta is trying to build some ballers. He's trying to bring in some stallions, and when you bring in stallions, you can only go up. Yeah, you can only go up.
No, the strategy what he's trying to do makes sense. You got to get that center mid buckle down, center back buckle down. You have to come to the middle to score. You can't score just from the wings.
And then he says
you got to push to the middle to score.
And then it says every youth have to sell.
Not every, just 8 of 10. 7 of 10. We don't have time to play around.
Right. Ira Ramsey says, Apollo, please answer my question. Sorry, I must have skipped it, so I'm going back here. Oh, by the way, Guna says he's from South Africa. So yeah, we have the African Guna from there. And he says the teams at the best academies show progress. Also buy across from Africa. Yeah, we can talk, man. We can talk. Ramsey says, question, Apollo, is it appropriate for a player to devalue himself just like Torreira?
What do you mean? Maitland-Niles did it.
But Maitland-Niles didn't totally devalue himself because he played almost all the games, right? He started, so at least you can see what he does. It didn't really work out as well as we'd like his performances, but he was decent. He wasn't terrible.
No.
Right?
What I mean by
Torreira wasn't playing. He was on the bench.
I meant by the interview that he did. I think it was with the Telegraph for him. Almost a tell-all. Yeah. He basically said, "Tell me what my squad role is, or let me go."
I think in terms of answering the question, is it appropriate for a player to devalue himself just like Torreira? Yes, it is, because a player would do anything to get a move. I know that football in itself is very different from other world sports, but me and Bertrand, we follow the NFL, we follow the NBA. There's a lot more money in that sport than there is in this game as far as contracts goes. And what we see from that sport is players are willing to sit out for a whole year in order to get a deal done. We had a guy in Washington at the Skins who was one of the best, if not the best left tackle in football, called Trent Williams. And Trent Williams, we were paying him 13 million a year, but he wanted 20. And because we didn't offer him a deal, he sat out for the whole year Now, what you've done essentially is you've taken 30 million and you've thrown it away in order to get 20 million. He got his 20 million. He got a trade with San Francisco 49ers. But my point is, to the average person like me and you, he threw 13 million away. That's how much he cut off his nose to spite a bit. Cesc Fabregas bought out his own contract and took a pay cut to go back to Barcelona. Oh, yeah. So the answer to your question is yes. If a player knows that he wants to get out of a situation, he will easily devalue himself, no doubt about it, and they will go the whole hog.
Now, I guess what he's basically saying is not necessarily can he do it. It's more of almost like should he be allowed to do it? That's the question, right? Should you be allowed because you're an asset, but then you're a human being too. That you can't differentiate between the person and right? The asset and the individual. They're not mutually exclusive. So it's very
and then I will go back to the video that I uploaded on Thursday when I talked about the clubs don't owe you nothing. They will give you your money. They'll give you the best contract. But as soon as you turn 30, you get a pat on the back, maybe get a goal watch. You get a ceremony game where your best friends who you played with for the last 10 years can turn up and run a little bit on the pitch and say thank you for it. But that's it. You don't get no love after that.
So here, that's the hypocrisy of the fans, right? So while you're with me, you're producing for me, you're the greatest things in sliced bread. Yeah. When you're no longer valuable, or if you show me some dissension, you want to leave, I will ream you. I will call you all sort of names. I would, it's amazing the hypocrisy of the fans, frankly, when it comes to players.
It is, but you take Willian. Last year we needed Willian more than anything. Willian, you was our savior. Willian, you was the 6th highest creative player in the Premiership, and we can't create. We need you. We paid 14 million signing on fee. We're paying him 100 grand a week, and then last month they sat down with each other, and Arteta said, "Bro, it ain't working out. We're gonna have to go in a different direction. It is what it is. Yeah, go and find a new place to play."
So that's some cost again. 14 million down the drain. That's like he's talking about. Everything you buy is a liability, not an asset. It cannot. Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Big shout out to Kez. Kez, we miss you, man. And I brought up one of your
evening, Kez.
I brought up one of your quotes in the forum. We were talking about the forum, and you made a really good point, which we talked about earlier on in the stream. So big shout out for you. Stu, been waiting patiently for this to be answered. Stu says, how much for Maddison, a guy who has been warming the bench of late and has a huge ego? Maguire, 80 million. Chidwell, 50 million. Maddison, 60 million. That's the ballpark figure for him. Worth not a penny more. And I think he will come in and be a huge asset for Arsenal. Whether he would be more important than Basama is up to speculation, and it's subjective as well. But I think that Maddison would be massive. And again, as Dioma said, we have to build up our homegrown players as well. So there's no surprise in the amount of British players that we are being listed with. Although Stu says he's no better than Smith Rowe. You know what? You may be right, Smith Rowe. We haven't seen the finished article in Smith Rowe. I have said for years that Smith Rowe is another Aaron Ramsey. He'll get you double-digit goals and assists every season, and that's what we're looking for. If
by
you
the
look
way,
at
by the way, he's eligible for Jamaica. I'm just going to say that. He's Smith Rowe. If you're hearing me, if Garrison gets to his team, we're going to the World Cup next year. If we can get more English-based players, come help us get to the World Cup. We don't curse you. We don't call you names. We appreciate you.
If your uncle is married to a Jamaican auntie, or if your forefathers was a pirate in the Caribbean or anything like that, just go find your shit and then sign up for the West Indies. I'm
an official recruiter for the Jamaican national team. Bring them in.
Oh God. The sentiment then says, "This is my problem with Arsenal. Want NDD, but Sodoma and will be his replacement, and there's 50 million less. It's smart recruitment, yeah." And that's why I said when I talked about Maddison, I would take Maddison, but Leicester, please tell me which player are you going to replace him with, because I might be interested in him too.
And they're going to cost 30 million pounds less, actually. They're not paying more than £30 million for who they're buying to replace him.
Yeah, true. So Ramsey's come with another question. Continuation to what his question is. How do you think this player's primary club will take it? It's killing in teams of financial. It is, but when you're a club, you offset that deficit. Yeah, it's in terms of what happened with the Ozil situation, what's currently happening with Aubameyang. It's something which you offset. Every team has two or three players that you're just in deficit with. You're never going to get that money back. It's a loss leader. Money's gone. You write it off. And then they have the midsection players that you're developing, and you're not playing a lot, but those are the engine of the team. And then you've got your prime players who either they're achieving and you're not paying them well, or they're achieving and you're paying them well. And at some point, just like Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe's got 2 years in his deal. You better give that guy a bumper deal and start to reward him for his performances before he goes to his last year, and then you go back into a Saka and Balogun situation again. So yeah, it might be killing the clubs on the outside, but the clubs have catered for all of this chaos. Yeah, it's within their budget. They know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes it will hurt teams, but it ain't as bad as it looks like on the cover.
How many players have we bought over the last 6-7 years who are seasoned veterans who we can get a return on our money? Season meaning you're like 24, 25, right? It's close to your prime, 27, 20 is the prime, that we can get a return on. How many of those players do we have? If we think about the Xhakas and the Lacazette, and we bring in the Williams, we bring in the Aubameyangs, and I mean, which one of those players can I sell on for a fee?
No, for a fee. I mean, we can sell Pepe for a fee.
But you pay $7 million. You just bought him 2 years ago. He's not even 26 yet. You probably can't get $50 million for it.
No.
It's a sad state of affair. I keep harping on this, but it's a sad state of affair. And who does Leicester buy? They can't sell on for a decent fee with a profit. Tell me one player they have bought, who they have bought for a decent amount, they can't sell on for a profit. Ndidi, Pereira,
most of their players that they could sell for a profit.
Maddison, what's the Turkish kid? Fofana, you name them all, they can get 20% plus profit on any one of those players. And we struggle to name a few of us we can do that for. That's our problem, guys. That's our problem. Keep talking about Arsenal doesn't spend money. We spend money. We just don't spend it wisely.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said the problem's at the front office, not at the board. I had a go at the fans in my video about that a couple of days. I cursed off the fans because all this noise about the problems and Kroenke been putting money into the team and giving them man to spend. It's the man that's spending the money that's the problem. Yeah, it's
here's my question, guys. So everybody said Daniel Ek should buy Arsenal, right? So Daniel Ek is worth between £3 and £4 billion, right? Just think about this. Most of it probably is locked up in the stocks of Spotify.
The stocks, yeah, that's right.
So he's got to borrow money. He's got to go borrow money and put the club in big debt to buy Arsenal, and then he's got to take money to spend to rebuild the team. How sustainable is that model he's going to employ? Cost him $2 billion, so it's $2 billion, right? And his asset may depreciate, not appreciate the way it's going. So right now he's as he goes in, he's moving the wrong direction because you buy these assets to appreciate. Because the English fan doesn't want you to take money out. You don't want to take money on your return investment. You can't put any money out because that's heresy. Yeah. Like my head hurts me when I hear that nonsense.
Yeah,
I buy something. I buy a house. I'm going to rent the house and I can't rent it. But you know what? That's not how it works. You can't do that. That's not a good thing. You can't take money out. When you spend your money, you can't get the money back. It's crazy.
Yeah, true. Good. Matras says, would you sell Tierney as he is injury prone? More off the pitch than on the pitch playing. I would never sell Kieran Tierney.
No, that's not even a consideration.
No, he is injury prone. He's talking the truth there.
Yeah, he's injury prone.
But
he's a lame duck.
Well, he's coming off, and I'll talk about Thomas Partey as well. He's coming off that major injury, and it's just been taking him time to figure it out because those are massive implications that you get from injuries like that. Long term, it doesn't sit well with the fact that you're being asked to play the amount of football that you're being asked to play. He just needs a good, just like Smith Rowe as well. He is a good, solid preseason strength training, fitness training, work on those muscles that strengthen the weak muscles, which is causing the problems in the body, and then he'll be fine. He's still young. He's 23. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
He needs to stop being glass. I'm sorry, guys. But here's
No,
the
come
thing.
on, man.
No. They always listen to this. So he got a groin injury when he was in Scotland, right? He came to us. He hurt something else. Then he hurt his shoulder against strawberry. It's not the same part his body's hurting. He's just a brittle. He's a tough guy who's brittle. You can't be a tough brittle guy. It doesn't work. You gotta play easy because he goes in to tackle hard. You can't be brittle and play that hard. You have to balance it out.
An NDD right now costs 60, 70 million. Is that correct? 60
What?
million?
No, I don't think he's 60. I think he's about 40.
Yeah, I think it's about 40.
I think he's Basuma type fee for it.
And he says Sotomayor will probably cost the same when he leaves Leicester. Shit missed. Moses is saying, let's forget this number 10 type of players. It's obsolete now. Yeah, you're right. But I don't like the false nine business. Don't work with me. That was like, how are you going to play that?
No, it's coming back. Apollo is coming back. It's coming back. Once he gets Willock and Maddison, it's coming back.
18 with this Bertrand business. It's, you know why they call him Bertrand? Because of banter. Bertrand loved flinging the banter. So he loved flinging the banter. The sentiment says, trust me, Apollo, the board is a huge problem. Listening to a former Arsenal recruiter when they interviewed in transfers to go more commercial signing. I'm not saying the board isn't a problem. I'm saying the board is doing their job by providing money. Where the board, I'm calling the board out for getting stuff wrong. And where the board are going wrong is they put two inexperienced people like Edu and Arteta in charge of one of the biggest clubs in the world. So that's my issue. The board, you need to do better in terms of bringing someone in who can do a job. Yeah. Remember, the Kroenkes don't know nothing about how to run a football team. They don't know how to buy players. They don't know how to structure negotiation contracts. They don't know how to play a manager. They don't know how to do any of that. That's why you buy a general manager, you buy a technical recruiter, you buy a negotiations chief, you buy all of those things so that they can run your football team. And the guys who are running Arsenal right now, Edu and Vinay, are doing a poor job. And that is due to the decisions that the board have made to put them in charge. But the board are providing money to spend. So that's, for me, where you have that kind of intangible, yeah? I like the fact that the board are providing money to spend. Long may it happen. And they've been doing that since 2014, from when we signed the Puma contracts, brought in Mesut Ozil, stadium rights, all those different things. We were promised at the Arsenal Supporters Trust that 120 million would be put in for transfer fees. The difference with this front office is they are not communicating with us. There's no transparency. We don't know what your budgets are. So, and I'm okay with that because no team in the world tells you what. Man United, Man City, none of them teams tell their fans, oh, by the way, our budget is 200 million this year. They don't do it. So I think with Arsenal, we kind of had it good because there was a lot of communication there. But Arsenal, in terms of front office and the board, are within their rights to hide how much their money they're going to pay. Because all it does is it alerts other teams to find out how much money is available to spend, and all they'll do is they'll take the living piss out of you. I
think Arsenal's biggest problem is we haven't really realized where we actually are. We still think that we are Arsenal 15, 20 years ago, and we're not. And we haven't come to that realization. So we don't realize that we have to be a little bit smart in our dealing. I'm keep beating to that about the Leicester construct. Leicester should have made the top four the last 2 years. Last year they had major injuries. This year they just collapsed. But they're in a position. We haven't been in a position to be top four in 4 years. They've been in a position to be easily top four the last 2 years and didn't make it. They're brilliant buyers of players, brilliant at sell-on. If we had a combination of resources plus add resources from sell-on, we could compete with the Man City and the Chelsea. Still challenging to do so, but we could. Right now, we're not even close because we haven't thought through this really when I realize where we are and what we need to do to compete. Also, our fans are still thinking that we're top four and we're not.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Kez, the Neomis, say your piece before I go to Kez.
No, I was going to say, I completely agree with it. I think finishing 2 seasons in a row 8th just says it all. This is why I've tempered my expectations with Arsenal a lot. And I mean, spoiler alert, when you go and do your preview on where you think Arsenal are going to finish, I'm going with 7th right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 6. Because last year I said we're going to finish top 4 if we have Martinez, and we're going to finish 6 to 8 if we don't.
Yep.
Well, I think we're going to win the league, so it's just with me.
Bertram, you know what? Let me.
I'm taking the P now.
No, I'm gonna write. Look, I got a pen. I got a paper. I'm gonna write that shit down. Yeah.
We have a genius as a manager, and we have another genius as a GM. So let me just say this though. I won't predict until I see who we buy. I will not predict until I see who we buy, because that's very important, right? We still can't compete with Man City or Chelsea. But who we buy and in what position we buy them, and if they stay healthy, is very important. So do we buy a keeper? Do we buy a right back? Do we buy a center back? Do we buy a left back because we know Tierney is brittle? Do we buy a center mid to mid party? And do we buy a center forward? That's like 7 players we need, 7, 8 players. It's not the 4 everyone keeps saying. We need 7, 8 players. If my center forward is not firing, just like O'Kane's not firing for England, but they keep playing him, and he looks like he wants to go to the pub, then you're going to struggle. If my center forward are firing, I bench them and I move on. That's what Chelsea does with Abrams last year. That's what City did with Aguero and Jesus.
Kuke said Bertram said that last year with Partey. He did. He said if we have Partey, we'll finish in the top 4.
But we wait to buy him and he came lame. That's the problem. And I could predict that my forward line would go out to lunch. So.
He's quoted Bertram, and now he's quoting me. He's quoting me now. I've said as long as Saka's in, he's quoting me. I've said as long as Saka's in the team, we ain't making top 4. Now Saka gone. Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that, man. I'll think about that when I'm doing my thing. Kez says, look at the potential of what clubs bring in and question why we're paying more. We're paying more because we're desperate. We're trying to catch up. When you're in catch-up mode, it costs. Yeah. But there's also that thing where I think Naomi said it last week, where anyone, because somebody mentioned about the Ben White thing, and Naomi mentioned if you're standing still, you're going backwards. So the fact that we want to bring in Ben White shows that we're still progressively moving forward. You finished 3rd in defense in the league. Great, fantastic, well done. But if you don't improve on that, then you're more likely not going to finish that good next season. So the Ben White deal, I like it because it shows that you want to improve on 3rd place. It shows that you want to be the best defense in the league. So and only good things can happen there. So Keza said that's why we're playing there. We can't ask for ready now and not have the patience to develop players. We need more to be more objective about our ask. Yeah, I agree with that. Mali says he would take Basuma in front of Ndidi. I think everybody would at this point.
Yeah,
I think everybody.
We're more well-rounded, but Ndidi is underrated.
Yeah,
totally. When they have Ndidi, they're not struggling. They struggle without Ndidi.
So I just want to cover I've got 2 more for the guys here. Guys, so as you know, Arsenal want Silva as Lacazette's replacement. I don't think Lacazette's going to stay at Arsenal. I would be shocked if Arsenal kept Lacazette for next season and let him run down his contract and go for free when he's 31. I think that they're going to cash him.
People can't afford almost 200K per week.
Yeah,
and that's the salary, so we can't get rid of Kolasinac.
Yeah,
we pay salary, and nobody can afford to pay those salaries, so they can't take them.
Yeah, Lacazette's on 180 at the moment. He's going to want at the minimum He's going to want 250. If I'm Lacazette, I'm saying I want 250.
He better go his own bank, and nobody giving him 250 in this environment.
Nobody giving him 250. No. You've never got. Although you played well last year, you've never hit 20 goals. In order for me to get into the top 4, I need a striker who's going to give me 20 goals a season, and I have a choice. I know who I want up front. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Don't we realize that we overpay player wages? That's why we can't get rid of Ozil, Kolasinac, Socrates. We can't get rid of any player because we overpay all of them. None of them we can get rid of because they wages. We have to give away what's his name to what was it Lazio Roma? That came from Manu that we exchanged for Sanchez. We had to give him away because his wages was too high. They couldn't afford him, so we had to give him away, even though he's worth something.
So deal or no deal, guys? Lacazette out and Andre Silva in. Deal or no deal? Neomis?
It has to be a deal because I like all that's going to happen is we're going to get nothing for Lacazette. Because if I'm Lacazette, I'm running my contract down so that next year when things are a bit better, I'm going to take the chance of getting a nice big bumper paycheck with lots of bonuses in there. So let's bring in Silva now. Like I've always said it, we need a striker that can hold the ball up. Silva does that. He scores goals. He's decent with his head. I don't think it's a bad one. And as long as the price is right, which I think is the difficult part with this one, then I'm down for it. But if they're talking anything stupid like 45, 50 mil, then it's a no. Because like Lacazette, he's not that clinical, but he does have a lot of good qualities that we do need.
What about you, Bertrand? Deal or no deal?
I'm not sold. Why can't you get into the first team for Portugal?
Randall ain't messing around. Randall saying, deal, bring him come.
Why can't you get into the first team? What's that about?
He's not clinical enough up front.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't you get Jota getting in game over you? Like, really? I'm still struggling with that.
That's why I say it depends on the amount. If you're talking straight swap, like okay, why not? But if they're talking about literally like, oh, send Lacazette the other way and we have to give like 20, 30 mil for Silva, then no. Like, no, absolutely
I'm going to use
no.
the Leicester model. I observe the talent. What age are you? Where do I see your potential? Where do I see you going?
I think he's like 24 now.
Can I see you being elite? No, I'm passing. If you can't be elite, I've got to compete with Man City and Chelsea who are spending oodles of money. Liverpool is going to be back with their healthy. Man U is going to be buying the Sanchez of the world. Tottenham doesn't matter anymore. Villa, let's go.
Right, so
guys, but I'm saying it's a struggle, right? You gotta buy the lead players to compete.
Yeah,
don't buy average or buy very good.
I would sell Lacazette, but Silva wouldn't be my replacement, so I would say no deal. I know what striker I want. I know what striker I want. After what I saw in the Euros, I know what striker I want.
Are you gonna say Isaac? You gonna say
Isaac? You know.
I knew it.
You know.
I watch Isaac and I said to myself, the kid has a complete game. The kid has skill, size. He's a good player.
He's a Wenger signing. A striker that's technically good.
Yeah,
you know.
And he goes in the box. He not only kick, he'll fake. You need a forward as they can create their own situation.
He's got the full package, man. We got Martinelli here already, but I would take Isaac in a heartbeat. Vincey, bro, I thought you're supposed to be on the stream, Vincey. What's going on? I hope you're doing well, though, man. Thanks for joining the stream.
Laka. We love Laka on another team.
Mali, he's saying no deal on Silva. Mali's saying keep Laka while Balogun develops. Agreed. You don't know what's going to happen with Balogun.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys are. We need goals, guys. We have the last 2 years. We've just scored over 50 goals. We can't afford that anymore. We need goals. Yeah. It's not just the defense the problem. We're fixing the defense. We got to fix up front.
So, guys, deal or no deal? Arsenal are considering Lucas Torreira in a swap deal. This was reported by Football Italia. And actually, the player's agent said Arsenal are considering swapping. This is a swap deal. Lucas Torreira for Joachim Kura.
No, I want my money. I want my 20 million. I paid 27 for him. I take 20. I give you a discount. Give me a discount. I want to spend it how I want to spend it. Not for some player
he's not a bad player, but for me, again,
doesn't score enough goals.
I want to sell so I can get my moolah.
Yes, I need my money.
And I can buy Isaac. Yeah?
Yes.
That's what I want. Yeah?
I have my purchases lined up. I need the money.
Boy, look, Mali's saying deal. Sentiment is like, come on, Apollo, don't get caught up, bro. Like Fergie said, never sign a player on a tournament hype. He's one player I would play.
No, he was at Dortmund and playing real well. He left and he scored double-digit goals and great assists in La Liga. No,
he's He's been doing it, and he's only 21.
No, he has pedigree. We're not following tournament hype. We've seen him before. We just want to see how he does. He's not performing like Harry Kane in the tournament.
Yeah, sentiment is going on that hype thing. He's gone on the hype train.
No, we're not into the hype thing. We're not into the hype thing.
Goodness says no deal. We need a threat. Isak, lengthy, and his pace as well. Big shout out to Lumbercamp. I haven't seen you in a while, man. So it's good to see you back on the channel. He said Torreira. Oh, he'd go for Torreira. Locatelli swap.
Locatelli's gone. Tournament hype is Locatelli. He's a good player. There's no way. His price just went up. Every time he plays, he goes about £10 million.
Vincey's saying no deal. Sell Torreira. Agreed. 100%, my brother. 100%.
Agree with you, Vincey.
And Randall is saying no swap. Money. Give me the thing where the doctor order me. Give me the thing. I just take the money, man. Give me the money. That's all I want. Yeah. Says Isak scored 15 goals in the Liga. Not good enough. Oh, but hold on.
He's 21. He's 21. He could get better. No, stop it.
Not just that, but not just that. He was ranked number 2 in the Liga in offensive efficiency behind Messi. Yeah. So take of that what you will. Sentiment said he would sell Torreira as well. Totally agree. The only other thing I'm going to get you guys before we close up, I want to get you guys to tell me what you would do with your 250 million. We ain't gonna get 250 million, but I just want to know hypothetically what you guys would do if somebody gave you that. Yeah. Also, if you guys didn't hear, Thomas Partey's changing his number from 18 to 5. He wore 5 when he was at Atletico, and obviously he wears it for his national team. So he will be wearing number 5. Remember, number 5 belonged to Socrates.
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask that. I was like, who had 5 before?
It belongs to Socrates. So, guys, let's play a little game. Guys in the chat as well, you can tell me what you would do with 250 million. You can go, take your time. Neomis, Bertram, take your time. I personally would go Onana, goalkeeper. I would buy him 7 million. I would buy me Ben White. I would get Maddison, I would get Basuma, and then I would get Alexander Isak. I would get Isak. That would be what I would do if I had the money. Yeah, guys in the chat, let me know what you would do if you had $250 million to spend.
That's not 250, Apollo. You're not 250 yet.
No, it's less. Yeah, no, it's less.
No, you gotta spend it. You gotta spend it.
No. I'm thinking about debt.
Debt. You use the rest to pay off debt. That's right.
I'm thinking about debt, brother. Hey,
that is good. That is good.
Yo, I'm thinking about paying off Pepe's deal now rather than waiting another 2 years. So I'm clearing the whole house. Guys in the chat, let me know what you would do with that money. Neomis is still thinking.
All right, so I can go.
Yeah.
So, Basuma 40, Ben White 45, Bertrand 0, 100,000 a year. Max Aaron's 40, Anana 7, Awad 20, and I'm still checking. I know what I should buy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 4 and 4, 8, 120. Yeah, I'm going up there.
Yeah.
3, 2, 5, 4, 9. I'm up to about 180, 182. So I still have 72 million to spend. And I'm doing well so far. I have my right back, I have my left back, I have my center midfielder, I have my center back, I have my goalkeeper. I'm getting a whole team.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe it. 250 mil. I mean, just
and you see how Arsenal fans lock it up, you know. I'm like, hold on. The link was 90 minutes. It wasn't. The link was 90 minutes, guys. Yeah, not BBC. Yeah, not Charlie Watts. Not David Ornstein. Not AFC Bell. This shit came from 90 minutes.
Oh, by the way, I have one more player. I'm adding to my list here. I've set maximum for 40 million. So right now, up to 222. Set maximum. I love to have him. I can't afford Grealish because he's gonna kill my budget. But St. Maximum at 40 mil, 45 mil, I can live with.
Right. So is that your 250 done, yeah?
No, I'm up to 222. I still have money to spend. I'm not spending it all up. I'm saving 30 for rainy day.
Hey, bro.
I'm going to go in January to get someone.
Oh, bro, we got to pay a government. We got to pay a government loan, 120 million.
No, but you can wait. The interest rate is low. I'll pay you back like credit card. 70% interest. I'm still paying now minimum, and it keeps adding up. Worry about it. You guys don't care. You just want me to spend. Is that what you want me to do? You want Crockett to spend. Don't worry about debt and worry about anything else.
Hey, look at this. Hold on a second. Hold on. Where are we? Here the job. Vincey said he would tempt Zizou to build a dynasty at Arsenal by Arteta. That's what he would do at 250 million. Cool K saying Mbappe 250 million done.
No. Mbappe's at PSG with a lot of players still in the Champions League. I don't buy that. No, more than that.
Sentiment said 250 million, sack the whole hierarchy, headhunt, and start again with Campos. Oh, man. So the board of directors, done. 18 said 250 mil, Grealish, Ben White, Bissouma, Set Max, and Martinez. Oh, God.
Wait, but is that 250? So Grealish is about 100, 140, 190, 230. He's short about 10 million pounds, 20 million pounds. Martinez is about 40 right now.
Martinez going to cost you 60. You sold him for 20 last year.
250, you overspent 18. You overspent.
Listen, those top teams have been paying 60, 70 million for top goalkeepers. Yeah, Martinez right now is worth a minimum of 60. You sold him for 20 last year. If you want to buy him back, you're gonna have to pay 3 times more, man.
And 18, where's your right back? You don't have one. And where's your backup left back? Tierney's brittle.
True.
You gotta have cover. But those are good players 18 have on there actually. Grealish is to me is exceptional. Grealish on one wing and St. Maximum on the other wing. You can just sit in the middle of the park and just watch the picture, right? You can just see players falling over the place, getting fouled, and
the Crockets were just counting their money, man.
Yeah. Everybody want to be an Arsenal fan watching you want to attractive football. You want to see players sliding over the park and can't touch the ball. You get Grealish and get St. Maximum. Crazy.
Yeah, true. Aguna says we need the need is a striker, Isak. Matt Aarons, good call.
What do you mean? I had Aarons, you didn't give me me? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, so you had Aarons as well. Aarons. Yeah.
Hey Guna, don't talk Guna.
He's got enough.
Max Aarons can also play for Jamaica. Just want to say, Max, you can't leave that right back. There's 4 right back Max in front of you, plus James Justin probably. You want to go World Cup next year? Come play for us now and get the World Cup next year.
He's gone for Maddison, DePaul, Bissouma, goalkeeper Dean Henderson. So it's a big shout. That's a big shout.
Dean Henderson. Has he replaced what's his name already at Man U? Well, he replaced he's the number 1 keeper.
Right. So Bertrand. So that 25 million is going into the trust fund, yeah.
Yeah, it's 38 million. I gotta go to the.
Oh God!
It's rainy day money. We're not paying any debt down.
You can put it towards Odegaard.
Look. Barcelona's debt is 800 billion. Okay, 800 million. I should say, not billion. 800 million plus. We can afford to have. I mean, the commercial revenue is about $1 billion, frankly. Not COVID, but pre-COVID. So we get those exciting players. People want to watch us. They buy our commercial merchandise. We get more sponsorship. We increase our revenues from 4+ to 5-6+. We're in a good spot. You got to get exciting players.
Yeah.
Nobody want to watch paint dry.
Neomis, how would you spend your 250 million?
All right, so we'll start from the back. This is predicated that we sell all the dross that's there. So we're gonna go with Onana for 10 mil. We need a backup, so I'm gonna go with Ramsdale for 20 mil. I don't know who the backup left back would be. I know there's talks on Deutsch. He's 7 mil. I'm gonna go with Lakonga for I think he's 20 mil.
17, 20 mil, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's right. That
57.
comes. I forgot about that actually. Good
Yeah.
shout. Good shout.
Was it?
Yeah, and
That's
Bertram, that should pretty much be your money used up.
No, he's what? 18 million. I got
17. So
20.
you got money
17?
for Onana. Yeah, you got money for Onana.
No, I already bought it on him.
Oh right. Oh God.
Yeah, I got 21 mil left. Or yeah, 21 mil left. Yes. But good shot.
I'm gonna get. Was it Ruben Neves? Well, these talks on what 35.
35.
So
Yeah.
that's 72. I'm gonna go with Maddison for 60.
Did you hear what Sentiment said? Sentiment said we could buy those players, but we'd still be dead food.
No. Listen,
Hey, Sentiment, it's too early to be drinking. It's too early to be drinking. We're buying quality Sentiment. Quality.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, guys, I'm having my drink for Ebony. It's Ebony's birthday, so I'm drinking it.
Happy birthday, beautiful queen.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Ebony.
Where was I?
So you're up to 132 Neomis with your Maddison purchase.
132. I'm also gonna steal one of Bertram's. I'm also gonna go with Saint-Maximin as well on that right. That I guess will take us up to what?
177
40 mil. Yep. And then I think another 50 for Isak.
So you're up to 227.
Yeah.
You still have another 23 mil to spend.
With that 20 mil, I'd like to pay off Willian's contract, first of all. Just whatever it takes, get him out.
That's mad. Vincey is not having it. Vincey's not having it.
See, maximum. Yeah, that's it. He's gonna play to the maximum. Listen,
Vincey is
I'm
not
a
having
big set
it.
maximum lover. I'm a big set maximum lover.
No. Vincey, when he's on the pitch, other teams will get caught. They will get caught.
They're scared. When he picks the ball in the middle of the field, like Shorey does, a little bit more finishing than Shorey. They need to refine their finishing, both of them, but teams start backing off.
Yeah.
They can't press you high. They press you high, you give him the ball, he gets by two players, and it's chaos. No, I think it's a good buy, Vincey.
Excellent.
I don't think Newcastle was selling, though, but I think it's a good buy.
Excellent. So, guys, listen. So that's us covering all the latest topics of the week, and I can't wait to see. It's a very adventurous week for Arsenal fans, and I can't wait to see what we've got in store for this week. I'm going to be bringing you daily videos as I have been doing, and thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, and thanks for backing up the channel as well. And although I've been missing for 6 months, we're just in the process of building up them bridges that we had over the first 2 years that I had started the channel up. And remember, please go to our forum, which is in the 101 on Facebook. Details have been in the video below. And join us every day. We're on there talking banter. Subscribe to Neomis's channel. Neomis, you want to shout out your channel?
Yeah. I'm also putting out my views on all the latest Arsenal content as well. Trying to put up some daily videos. So that's at AFC Neomis. So definitely do check me out and subscribe as well.
And Bertram, shout out the Reggae Boys thing as well. Let me try.
It's Coach's Desk. So it's Coach 'S Desk. They are on when you're sleeping. So it's between 8 o'clock to 12 at night Eastern Standard Time. So it's a 4-hour program. What they do really unique is he posts the link, so you can click on as a viewer and join. And we have chaos sometimes because then he blocked the number and gets 6-7 people on. Some recurring guests on there. But no, it's actually a fun program. They're very passionate about their football, very knowledgeable about European football, frankly. But the focus mainly on the Jamaica team, especially now they have the Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifiers coming up. And we're trying to bring in all those English players who English have discarded. You can't make the English team, but you're good enough to play. Come join us. We actually have a few between Reed from Fulham, Antonio from West Ham, Pinnock, who's coming up to the Premier League with Brentford. There are a number of players. Liam.
Yeah, because remember, I didn't think you saw all my posts last night, but I was talking about Pinnock from Brentford.
Pinnock is on the team. Moore is on the team. Ravel Morrison, who I love actually, but who doesn't have a club. He was a Man U trainee from way back, but he's on the team. Yeah, they have quite a few players who come. I think we have about 14 or so. There's a 60-man squad being announced. 20 plus English players, and we're trying to get more.
Nice.
Yeah, but some good players. We're trying to get Alban Tony, but he has England aspirations. Get reality check, Tony. You're not going to get for England. Not yet get past Ali Watkins or Harry Kane. You're not getting old either, so come join us.
Yeah, for real, man. Excellent. So, guys, that's it from us. We'll be back with some more Arsenal transfer news where we can get you guys involved, because that's the most important thing. I know there's a lot of Arsenal YouTube channels around there, but this is a more community-based channel. We like to get our listeners and our viewers on board. We like to get you a part of the process and get you involved in what we're doing. Throw questions at us, be a part of the process. And as I said, that is something which 101 is going to always keep on doing. Thank you for your contributions to the channel as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace right back at ya.
See you guys.